St. Louis, symbolized by the Gateway Arch in the city, re-energized by the Rams in their 4-game winning streak. After starting the season 0-5 and losing quarterback Kurt Warner to a broken finger, who would have believed what was about to transpire?
There's too much character, too many guys that have been through too much in this organization to think that after 5 games, oh, we're just going to pack it in. We knew what was inside.
But no one knew about anonymous backup Marc Bulger. Now a major figure in the Rams' remarkable turnaround, Bulger turned the town giddy last Sunday with a 453-yard, 4-touchdown performance in the Rams' dramatic comeback win against the Chargers.
The Rams are all about fun. We didn't have that this first 5 games, and you see Torrey's back to laughing. In the locker room, we're joking around, we're having a good time, and that's when we play our best.
I think that's what this season has showed us, that we struggled, we didn't play up to our standards, but nobody let it go. Nobody let it die. And now we're going to push this thing to the limit and see what we can do from here.
Trying to square their record at 5-5 against the Chicago Bears on Monday Night Football. Al Michaels, John Madden, Melissa Stark, welcome to St. Louis. First things first. Kurt Warner broke the pinky on his throwing hand at the end of September. Hasn't played since. He's ready to go. He's the number 2 quarterback tonight. Mike Martz won't risk starting him. Marc Bulger has the hot hand. He remains number 1 for tonight, but Martz says on Sunday in Washington, it's Warner. No questions asked. Case closed. The other big story, Marshall Faulk suffered a sprained ankle last week against San Diego. Won't go tonight. They go with a rookie, Lamar Gordon, out of North Dakota State. The Bears, of course, don't want to hear about anybody's problems. Last year, very few injuries. Everything went right, 13-3. This year, a ton of injuries. Everything goes wrong, 2-7, and they've lost 7 straight. John, in this most improbable of NFL seasons, who would have believed we'd come to St. Louis, Week 11, and there'd be a big quarterback controversy?
And this Marc Bulger is really something. You know, he's a real deal. And everyone thought, you know, when Kurt Warner goes down, you know, and they're all
2 NFL season, and Melissa Stark down on the field with Kurt Warner. Melissa?
Well, Al, for the first time since 1998, Kurt Warner, the number 2 quarterback. Kurt, Marc Bulger's won 4 straight games in your absence. What's impressed you the most about his play?
Probably the biggest thing is when a young guy comes in, a lot of times they try to do too much. They try to force things. And he's really played within himself, allowed the guys around him to make plays, not trying to do everything himself. And that's very unheard of for a young guy that hasn't played very much. And that's what's probably impressed me the most.
You told us this weekend that your right pinky's finally healed. Mike Martz has already declared you the starter for next week. Are you concerned at all about disrupting the rhythm that the team's established in your absence?
Not at all. This is about a team game, and it's not about one position. And I'm going to go in and do what I've done for 3 years now, and everybody else is going to play at a high level like they have been, and we're going to keep this thing rolling.
Sure, thanks a lot.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, Al, well, the Rams trying to become just the 2nd team in NFL history, joining last year's Redskins to win 5 straight games after starting the season 0-5.
And no team, Melissa, has started 0-5 and gone to the playoffs, but the Rams have a very decent chance. Mike Martz was the offensive coordinator under Dick Vermeil when they won the Super Bowl following the '99 season. Then he took them to the playoffs in 2000. Got them, of course, to the Super Bowl last year. And Dick Duran, meanwhile, led the Bears to a 13-3 mark last season. But then they were bounced out of the playoffs by the Philadelphia Eagles. This year they start with 2 wins and now 7 straight losses. And Paul Edinger will kick off to get this one underway in St. Louis. Terrence Wilkins, former Colt, to receive. And Marc Bulger ready to start the game when the Rams get the ball. Wilkins from the 9-yard line. Straight up the middle. Good run back. And then finally taken down up at the 35 by Mike Green. And let's take a look at the Rams offensively.
Marc Bulger, West Virginia.
Lamar Gordon, North Dakota State.
James Hodgins, San Jose State.
Isaac Bruce, Memphis. Big game, Torrey Holt, North Carolina State.
Ernie Conwell, Washington.
Orlando Pace, The Ohio State University.
Tom Newton, Western Michigan.
Andy McCollum, Toledo.
Adam Timmerman, South Dakota State.
John St. Clair, Virginia.
And that offensive line, of course, leading the way for their number 3 draft choice, Lamar Gordon. Faulk out. Bulger gets the start against a 4-man Chicago defensive front. Bruce is the man in motion, and they begin the game with Gordon. And Gordon is able to slip Urlacher's initial tackle and then is taken down as we take a look at the Chicago defense.
Philip Daniels, Georgia.
Brian Robinson, Fresno State.
Keith Traylor, Central Oklahoma.
Alex Brown, Florida.
Roosevelt Colvin, Purdue.
Brian Urlacher, New Mexico.
Bobby Howard, Notre Dame.
R.W. McQuarters, The Oklahoma State University.
Mike Green, Northwestern State, Louisiana.
Michael Brown, Nebraska.
Jerry Azuma, New Hampshire.
There is Marshall Faulk, who figures to play next week. He was questionable coming into tonight's game, but they put him in civvies. Should play next week at Washington. 2nd and 10, and Bulger nearly gets sacked and then throws under pressure, and it's incomplete, intended for Ricky Prohl. A lot of pressure that time.
They're going to test Mark Bulger right away. They came in on 2nd down with a 4-1-6, 4 defensive linemen, 1 linebacker, 6 defensive backs, and they overload the right side of the defense, the left side of the offense. They overload on this side, and here's where they bring the pressure. And you see they get free right there, and he's right at Bulger's left leg so that he can't step up. Then he just had to throw the ball away. That kind of tells you what the Bears, how they want to start. They're going to put some pressure on him. Now they look like they're going to play coverage.
Now they rush 5. 3 linemen, 2 backers, and it is caught out in the flat by Gordon, and Urlacher chases him down, but not until he picks up 17 to the Chicago 48-yard line.
And that was your who would have thought. You know, Mark Bulger right away to Lamar Gordon. They need a big play on 3rd down, and he goes to the rookie from North Dakota State. Right here he comes down. He's looking downfield. Then he comes to his outlet out here to the right, Lamar Gordon. That's the thing that impresses me about Bulger, how he can get back in the pocket and be so calm about the whole thing.
It's amazing he didn't throw a pass in an NFL game until a month ago. Looks like a 10-year veteran. 3 receivers set to the left, and on a draw they give it to Gordon through the middle, picks up 1 to the Chicago 47-yard line. Gordon out of Little, North Dakota State. He's a kid out of Milwaukee. Charlie Army, their great personnel man here in St. Louis, used to coach at North Dakota State. Lovie Smith, the defensive coordinator, has a lot of friends up there. They did their homework on him, and they said, you know what, this kid's really good. He might be the best running back in the draft, they felt.
Well, and he's a tough guy, and he rims hard. I know last week they brought him in the game. Marshall Faulk was hurt, and they needed a spark. You know, everyone was kind of down when Marshall went out, and this guy came in and gave him a life.
2nd and 9, and Bulger goes deep, and it is incomplete. Crowd wants a flag, doesn't get it. Intended for Torrey Holt, blanketed by Jerry Azuma.
You know, that's one of the matchups we're going to see all night is Torrey Holt against Jerry Azuma. Although Azuma does have help from Mike Brown. See, he can play underneath. In fact, he grabs a little because he has a safety coming over the top. So he can play tight, and he can play underneath Holt a little and get between Torrey Holt, the receiver, and Mark Bulger, the quarterback.
3rd down and 9 now on the opening drive of the game. Couple of minutes in. Azuma on Holt. John talking about that matchup. We'll see it all night. As Bulger retreats, sets up in the pocket beautifully, throws over the middle, caught over the middle by Isaac Bruce to a chorus of Bruce to the 26-yard line, 21 yards.
And Isaac Bruce runs that pattern, and the Rams run that pattern better than anyone in football. This is the one that you have to be able to throw, the deep end. You see, he gets the inside move right there, then he just comes straight across about 15 to 17 yards. Watch Mark Bulger here. I mean, you talk about a quick release. I mean, that's in slow motion, but that ball is, boom, it's up there and right out of his hands. This kid, I swear, he's something special. I mean, you look at him, he has skinny arms, you wonder where it comes from, but he has some stuff in there.
Went to the same high school in Pittsburgh as did Dan Marino. Throws it out here, beautiful, on the money to Bruce, inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal for St. Louis.
Yep. Isaac Bruce ran the in, and then he comes right back. They expect the in again, and he runs the corner.
You saw Warner on the headset. He's calling the plays in after March calls the play.
See, here he goes. He starts to the inside, and then he comes back out. And I'll tell you, that's at cover 2. Isaac Bruce gets between the corner and the safety, and Kurt Bulger throws, a perfect pass.
Bobby Howard, the linebacker, trailing on the coverage. 4-man front for Chicago. 1st and goal. They give it to Gordon, and that's Urlacher, who couldn't take him down, but he stops his momentum to the extent that he is stopped at the 3-yard line after a pickup of 1.
The way Mark Bulger's looked on this drive here, he kind of looked like Rich Gannon did last Monday night. Big Blosh is trying to figure out what he has to do to stop him. He's tried everything. He's used the man coverage. He's used the blitz. He's used the three-man line. He has really mixed up his defenses and his coverage, and Mark Bulger has taken advantage of all of them.
Rams a move from their own 35 to the Chicago 3, and on second down, Gordon through the middle, and he'll take the pile to the 1 before the whistle ends the play. It'll be third down and goal from the 1. Urlacher 54. He'll be in the middle of everything tonight. He's all over the field.
Yeah, and you know, and he reads the guards, and he reads the back, and he's going to, if they can just hold the blockers off him, Brian Urlacher is going to get to the play.
Rams have scored 4 touchdowns this season on their first drive of a game. The Steelers lead the league with 5. Meanwhile, Chicago has not scored a single point this season on any opening drive. Third down and goal from the 1. Fake, and then a give to Conwell, the tight end. They love to run that play. Touchdown. Ernie Conwell, who scored last week, scores on the opening drive tonight.
Yeah, I was watching that play on Saturday night. They were running it. I said, this play is never going to work. They run it all the time. Here's Conwell here. He's going to come back here and run right through here. And I say, you know, when you have backs and you have great receivers and so on, why do you run this play? Well, the Rams just showed me why. See, what they do is they get Urlacher going the other way. That's what they want to do. They want to influence him, get him where he takes a step to the left. Then that's going to make him a step late to get to Ernie Conwell.
Since Martz became the head coach and Jerry Austin is the referee with a little conference here, when Martz became the head coach in 2000, at that point, Conwell started carrying the ball in addition to catching the ball. That is the 13th time he has carried for Martz. No indication yet from Austin what this is all about.
Well, you know, one of the things they do, they take their tackle, right tackle, John St. Clair, and when they're on the goal line, they make him eligible. So he's a tight end, and I don't know if he reported, although I thought I did hear him say number 70 eligible. See, here's John St. Clair. He's the tackle playing on this side. Again, here's Ernie Conwell. Again, here's Urlacher right here. You see that little step that he takes? That gets him there slow. See that step right there? That slows him up to get to Ernie Conwell right there. And then that lets Ernie Conwell fall into the end zone.
So the question is about the formation. I would assume at this point, I think we heard him in the background announce that St. Clair had reported. Here's Austin. He did, in fact, announce it. So whatever it was, they're going to keep it a secret from us.
I think they just had a conference.
Yeah, right. They didn't get any exposure on the first series.
Okay, that's it. Let him play.
Now Jeff Wilkins for the point after. And so the Rams in 4 minutes, 55 seconds, 10 plays, 65 yards, just like that. 7-0 Rams.
But if I had the choice, I would do neither. Or is it neither?
It's both. It's either.
I'd do neither and neither.
It's either neither or neither.
Yeah, that was a heck of a start there for the Rams. I think when you're playing a team like the Bears that come in here and they're down, they've lost 7 in a row. You know, you don't want them to get any confidence at all. And that drive, if the Bears came in with any confidence at all defensively, I think that drive took away what confidence they had.
Mitch Berger. And the kick is fielded at the 2-yard line by Ahmad Merritt to the 25. The Gateway Arch, the gateway to the West, the NFC West. 7-0 St. Louis. Provided by Budweiser, close Anheuser-Busch, based right here. 7-0. Rams scoring on the opening drive. Now Chris Chandler, the quarterback. And the Bears' first offensive play is a Chandler pass over the middle. Pulled in by Marty Booker. Nice start. And again out to the 49-yard line.
Marty Booker, one of the top receivers in the whole NFL. You watch, he just starts up, and we said that, you know, that Chris Chandler has to get rid of the ball quickly, and that's a pattern that you can. It's what you call a skinny post. You just go up into the inside, you just go back, and the minute that back foot drops, Chris Chandler lets it go to Marty Booker.
Booker caught 100 balls last year. Leads the team this season, 52. 9 games in. Anthony Thomas across the 50 to the 48. Let's take a look at the Chicago offensive 11.
Chris Chandler, Washington.
Anthony Thomas, Michigan.
Damon Shelton, Sacramento State.
Marty Booker, Northeast Louisiana.
Des White, Georgia Tech.
John Davis, Emporia State.
Mark Colombo, Boston College. Mike Gandy, Notre Dame.
Kevin Dawkins, Texas A&M Kingsville.
Chris Valario, Indiana, University of Pennsylvania.
James Williams, Cheney University.
James Big Cat Williams, 12th year. Young left side of the line, though. Colombo, their #1 pick out of Boston College. Gandy, the left guard, 2nd year out of Notre Dame. Chandler fires, and it is incomplete, intended for 88, Marcus Robinson. Let's take a look at the Ram D.
Leonard Little, Tennessee.
Ryan Pickett, The Ohio State University.
Jeff Scanina, Purdue University.
Grant Wistrom, Nebraska.
Robert Thomas, UCLA. Jamie Duncan, Vanderbilt.
Tommy Polley, Florida State.
Travis Fisher, Central Florida.
Adam Archuleta, Arizona State.
Kim Herring, Penn State.
Red Bly, North Carolina.
There is Olin Cruz. There's a flag down before the next snap.
Illegal substitution. 12 men in the huddle. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
It'll make it 3rd down and 11. Cruz, the center, we just saw him, was a Pro Bowl center, had an appendectomy on Monday, so he's out, and they hope to have him back next Sunday against Detroit and Champaign.
Yeah, he played last Sunday and didn't feel well, and then after the game they checked him out and found out that he had appendicitis problem. They operated on him on Monday, and there was some thought that he may be able to play tonight.
But no, they go with the ex-Buck Kevin Doggins. Now 3rd and 11. Chandler out of the shotgun. Rams pressure him, and it's a little dump off and almost intercepted, almost picked by Tyoka Jackson. But a lot of pressure that time. The Rams forcing it from their ends. Wistrom and Little. You're going to see that a lot tonight.
Yeah, here's Little here, and he's going to be the first guy. Wistrom comes from that side, but you see what happened is Chandler, he kind of fumbled the snap a little. So that got him a little off of his rhythm, and here's Wistrom high and Little low.
So for the 10th consecutive game, the Bears do not score a single point on an opening drive after the Rams here get a touchdown. Brad Maynard to punt. Angle kick, fair catch called for, and then made inside the 10 by Terrence Wilkins, where you normally let it bounce, but he fair catches it. I think they'll spot it at about the 8-yard line. 8:24 to go, opening period. St. Louis 7. 136. Mark 4.
That's amazing. I mean, and the thing that this kid does is amazing. You know, we just saw it on that first drive, but he's been playing like that for a month.
Good protection, good fake, long gain. Conwell, who scored the touchdown, off and running to the Chicago 40 from the 8 across midfield to the 40, 52 yards. And a first down, of course, at the 40, and there may have been a flag at the end of the play.
This is what Mark Bulger sees. You see, you get a play pass. Now look how that held the linebackers and bunched everyone up. Then you get your tight end right down the middle, and you just have to throw it over a linebacker. Rosie Colvin, number 59, is the closest bear there. He knew when he had to play pass. He knew he had him held. Then he just kind of lobbed that ball up there to Ernie Conwell.
And here comes the penalty. It's going to be against McQuarters.
Oh, that's that old second guy, isn't it?
Yeah, Bruce had him first, and McQuarters hits him, gets a personal foul, and tack on 15 to the 52. Yep, exactly right.
Yeah. You know, that was a heck of a play, though. I mean, you know, you do that against an aggressive defense on a run down. First down, they're planning in there for run. The linebackers are in there tight, give them play pass.
Here's Gordon, subbing for 4, minimal gain.
The other thing that impressed me about Mark Bulger is he can make all the throws, and you know, and you have to. Here's the type of throws you have to do. If you're going to play for the Rams, you have to throw that deep in, and we've already seen him do that. Then you have to be able to move and throw that comeback or that play to the sideline. And then, of course, you have to be able to throw at the corner because they run that better than anyone, and then you have to be able to throw the up. And if you watch Mark Bulger in this last month, he has made all those throws. In fact, he started this game making them all.
Right on the money. 2nd and 10, a little toss, a little trickery. They give the ball to Torrey Holt on a reverse of first down, and he takes it all the way down to the 10-yard line. Stopped there by Mike Brown. So Torrey Holt taking the handoff, and Mike Martz is at it again.
And I'll tell you, he mixes everything up. I mean, he's done everything. He's thrown screen passes, he's thrown deep, he's thrown short, he's thrown play pass, he's run to the tight end. Here again, he starts a reverse. It starts off a counter, then it goes back to Torrey Holt. Watch Mark Bulger here. He's out here leading. Not the biggest of blockers, but not a bad block out there.
First rush of the season for Holt. Of course, Conwell, the tight end, has already rushed for a touchdown. 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. Bulger, great protection, guns it. That's incomplete. Broken up at the 3, intended for Brandon Manu Maliuna. And what amazes me, John, is you go with a kid quarterback in his 5th start, a rookie running back, and yet Mike Martz has his system, has his scheme, doesn't change anything.
No, and that's what he says. I mean, he knows one way to play. In fact, we were talking to Greg Blash about it, and he said that Mike Martz has 124 formations. He said they've taken it off, and they play 120 formations, even with the 3rd quarterback. And he said it's really tough to defend. He said he's so impressed with these coaches, the way they teach all this stuff. Here's a new one right here. Yep. 5 wide receivers. 5
wide outs. They call this the termite formation. And Bulger loses the ball. At the 15-yard line, Roosevelt Coleman caused the fumble, and Chicago has it. So the Rams marching down the field, looking for certain it would be 14-0. Instead, Chicago gets the exact break it needs. McNabb, of course. Deuce Staley will have to lead the attack next week. The Eagles and the 49ers from San Francisco on Monday Night Football. Chicago, after the Alex Brown recovery created by Colvin, who gets a sack and a forced fumble. On first down, Leon Johnson is in the backfield. And Leon is taken down by Leonard Little. They start with Anthony Thomas, who was a 1,000-yard back as a rookie, but they want to get Johnson in the game. They did early last week and do again tonight.
That's the thing that Dick Duran was talking about last night is a change of pace. He really likes Leon Johnson, and he said that he would like to get him more touches, but somewhere to get more touches, your offense has to do something. You have to get first downs, you have to have the ball, and you can want to do a lot of these things, but if you don't have the ball and get first downs, then you don't have enough plays to do any of them.
So Thomas out at least for a series. 2nd and 9. Rams showing blitz, and here they come, and Chandler, pressured from behind, gets it off and completes it, but for a very short gain to Marty Booker, as the pressure was put on, as it will be all night, by Grant Wistrom.
Yeah, and it was from his backside. It was one of those zone dogs. Watch Adam Archuleta. He's a safety, and you're going to see him come up, and try and hit it right as a ball snap. He's a little late, but that was the overload, and they got that pressure from Chris Chandler's backside. Watch it right here. It'll come from his left side, right there. They have an overload there. They had one extra defender to that left side.
Goggins took out Archuleta, but Wistrom forced the issue. 3rd down and 7. Noisy dome out of the shotgun. Chandler throws. Booker over the middle. And Marty Booker out to the 26 and a flag at the end of the play, after for the moment he picks up a first down.
It's too bad that Marty Booker hasn't had some better players around him, because he's as close to one
Personal
guy
foul.
doing a lot of things.
Face mask, 15 yards, number 32 defense. First down.
Dre Bly.
As you can get. I mean, you wonder how Marty Booker, instead of ending up with Chicago, how he would be if he were in this Ram offense, because he can make all the plays himself.
You know who he needed is Sid Luckman on the other side. Do you believe Sid Luckman still holds the Bears record for most touchdown passes and passing yardage?
No, that's why some teams can never get a quarterback like the Bears. They can never get a quarterback, and teams like the Rams, they just start falling off trees into the Rams.
It's amazing. From the 41-yard line. And that's thrown out of bounds. You go back with the Rams, of course, you have Norm Van Brocklin and Bob Waterfield and through the years. And then with the Bears, there was Luckman, who played in the 40s mainly. Billy Wade would be next, another guy who played 40 years ago. And then McMahon is third at 67.
And then Ed Brown, he played in 1954. So you're right. And you wonder why. And it happens to some teams. Some teams can get running backs. Some teams can get great defensive linemen and linebackers. Some teams can't. The Bears are a team that just can't seem to get a quarterback.
And you saw Jim Miller, who would be the starter, but he can't because of tendonitis in his elbow. But is available to play if needed tonight, as he did last week. Fake to Johnson. Then Chandler's going to pack it in and gets necktied at the 46-yard line by Brian Young, the tackle.
Well, that's the last thing that Chandler needs in this game, is to get necktied. I mean, he came in, remember last week, he got it on a quarterback sneak. And it was a short yardage play, and he took a quarterback sneak, and he took a shot to the head, and then it went to his neck. And he said his neck was, really stiff on Wednesday. He started to loosen up, but when we talked to him last night, he said his neck is still stiff.
Chris, of course, has been in and out of the lineup through a lot of his career. 15 years. This is his 7th different team, and he has started at one point or another for each of them. 3rd down and 4. And Chandler falls down. May have tripped on his center's foot and then gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage by Wisterman Young.
Oh, and that's the thing. He knows he has to get rid of that ball, and that's exactly what it was. His center is Kevin Doggins, and you're going to see it. He's going to step on his foot. Watch Chris Chandler here as a ball snap. Watch Doggins right there. He just stepped on his left foot. He got the right one out of there, and then it was the off foot or the left foot that Doggins stepped on.
So Doggins taking the place of the Pro Bowler Kreutz. That forces a punt. Maynard to kick. Terrence Wilkins is back. Chicago looking as if they'll fake it, and they will. And it's Maynard with a first down out of the back of the playbook. And why not? 7 straight losses, and it's a first down for Chicago.
That was the old bootleg play. Remember in the old days where you used to fake and then put the ball on your hip? Maynard took the ball and he put it behind his back. He put it behind his back and held it there for a while. Watch him as he gets it here. He's going to fake the reverse, and then he puts the ball behind his back. You see, he hides it back there. Then he fakes the kick. Then he gets out there to the left, and there's not a Ram defender out there.
Maynard playing in his 90th game in the league. It's the first time he's ever run for a game.
You have to call that something when you take the ball and hide it behind your back. That has to be something.
Street ball. Now they put Thomas back in the game. He has a first down, and with good tough running takes it to the 19 behind a Doggins block.
I remember when Jimmy Johnson was coaching the Dallas Cowboys, and he used to call those plays on special teams momentum changers. And he felt when the other team had the momentum, to get the momentum back, you had to get it through special teams. And that's exactly what the Bears did on that play. They didn't have the momentum. They had lost it someplace. They had to get it back. It was a gutsy call, but it was a heck of a play.
Dick Geron figuring out why not. 2-7, 7 straight defeats. Try to get back into the game, down by a touchdown from the 18-yard line, but look out, because here comes James Whitley, backup corner off the corner for the sack.
And he was there, and that's that 6 defensive back package, and no one saw Whitley at all. There was no one picking him up. No one came out there and missed him or anything. He was just out there. He was unaccounted for. He was never accounted for. And you're just going to see that he's standing out here, and then he's just going to come. You see, he comes right here. They all block down. No one looks. No one sees him. And the first guy that realizes he's coming is Chris Chandler.
5-yard sack. Little over a minute to go in the period. Fake. Chandler almost gets sacked. Dumps it off as a Ram had his shirt, and there's a flag down at the 29-yard line, thrown by Jerry Austin.
Personal foul. Look the passer. 91 defense. 11 distance goal. First down.
Leonard Little.
Well, you know one thing. This Ram defense is going after Chris Chandler. I mean, they feel that by going after him that they can get him out of the game, and you can see him blitzing more, rushing more, and they get this type of thing, and they want to get him out of the game. And you can see here they're all going after. I mean, they're going after him like like this is something, there's some sugar on something here.
Lovie Smith, defensive coordinator, came over from Tampa Bay last year to really turn the Ram defense around. This year playing not quite as well as they did last season, but still pretty good, especially lately.
Yeah, and they don't blitz a lot, but they're blitzing the Bears more tonight than normal. But when they do blitz, it's in this area inside the 20-yard line.
First down from the 12. Thomas hit hard after a gain of 1. Archuleta among those, and Travis Fisher as well.
That Archuleta is something, isn't he? I mean, he's a linebacker in the body of a defensive back. And you just see that he'll play that position anytime that Lovie Smith can bring Adam Archuleta up to this area in that linebacker area. That's where he wants him, because he has such a nose for the ball, and then when he gets there, watch him unload. I mean, he does something about it when he gets there.
One of their number 1 picks. They had 3 last year out of Arizona State. Thomas is the tailback here on 2nd down and 10. Fake to Thomas. Chandler under pressure. Chandler gets sacked by Grant Wistrom at the 23. He's had a great quarter. And a flag is down.
It's going to be against the Bears, and it was back here. It was back on this right side, away from the bootleg. One of the things that John Chup and the Bears is trying to do is move Chris Chandler around. The fake was to the right, and that's where the flag area was. Chandler went to the left.
Block on the right tackle and back. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
On the right tackle and back, whatever that means. James Williams.
What it means is James Williams is okay. He can be engaged, but watch James Williams. He'll be right here. Now, if he's engaged, if he has a guy engaged, if he's blocking a guy, then someone else can't come in and chop him when he's blocking him. Oop, he just went right out of the picture. It was over on the right side. That's what I said. The ball was on the left, and the penalty was on the right.
And that will be the end of the first quarter with Chicago driving. And the St. Louis Rams scoring on their first drive. So at the end of 1, it is St. Louis 7, Chicago nothing. And Monday Night Football resumes after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Monday Night Football, the Chicago Bears trailing 7-0 and have a 3rd down and 20 now. And they've been coming to Chandler often and hard.
And they're going to come big on this time, but I think the Bears are in their empty backfield. I think they have to throw this one into the end zone. I'd go for a touchdown here.
3rd down and 20. Chandler to Robinson, makes a nice move, but then the Rams are able to converge and stop him after a very short gain, and setting up a field goal attempt for Edinger.
Yeah, I was thinking, if you're going to take a shot right there, because you're already in field goal range. I mean, if you're going to throw that, you may as well, throw one incomplete into the end zone and try and get a touchdown, because you have your field goal.
Instead underneath, and it is Edinger now to kick.
35. Watch the thing he goes through here. 1, 2, 3 back. Now he's not done. Now he gets that deal. Now he's going to go 1, 2, and then twirl. Then you got one more twirl right there. Turns his back completely to the goal.
He's good, though. From 37 out. Bangs it through. He knocked Detroit out of the playoffs at the end of the game a couple of years ago and put the Rams in. So Jerron's team gets the fumble, marches down the field, and shaves the St. Louis lead to 4. Edinger to kick off. Bulger ready to come back in as Edinger's kick is fielded at the 10. Terrence Wilkins, ex-Colt, up to the 28-yard line. Let's check in with Melissa.
Well, Al, during the Rams' last drive, when Mark Bulger took that hit, fumbled the ball, he sprained a ligament in his right index fingers. Now, the trainer checked him out, said he's okay to return, but certainly something to keep an eye on, see how it affects him. Of course, they've got Kurt Warner, though, as their number 2.
That's right. And here is Bulger, and we can see in a minute here exactly what happened.
Well, it's Rosie Colvin, and watch him. He's going to come in and put his right hand on the ball. And you see as the hand goes and knocks the ball out of Bulger's hand, he gets that right finger. In fact, Bulger, instead of grabbing for the ball, grabbed for his finger. And then he came off the field, and this was him trying to warm up here. And I knew that something was wrong when I saw him out there coming off the field and start warming up right away.
Timeout, injury timeout here. That is Courtney Bullard, the rookie out of Ohio State. Rams' 5th round pick, who was shaken up on the return. A minute into the second quarter.
Official timeout.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
The Dome, the Arch, downtown. Cortland Bullard shaken up on the run back, able to trot off the field, holding his side, should be okay. There's Urlacher looking at the Ram offense, going to work here now, as it's caught out at the 31-yard line by Lamar Gordon, and then Gordon is run out of bounds at the 36. Bulger's father, Jim, was a college quarterback, played under Ara Parsegian at Notre Dame about 30 years ago, now in the leasing business in Pittsburgh, and here tonight.
And when you talk to Mark Bulger, you know, I was asking where he got that quick release, because he went to the same high school as Dan Marino, and and he's been a big Notre Dame fan all his life, and you expected one of those names, and the name was his dad. He said his dad got him started in all his fundamentals.
This is James Hodgins picking up 2. Interesting road that he took out of West Virginia. He had a good junior year, not so hot in the senior season with injuries. Picked in the 6th round by the Saints. Never took a snap in training camp. Then he came to the Rams for a couple of weeks on the practice squad. Went to Atlanta on their practice squad. Then came back here last year, suited up as the 3rd quarterback. Didn't play in any game. And then, of course, after Warner got hurt and then Jamie Martin couldn't make it, in week 6, here he came, and he's 4-0.
Today in the NFL, it seems like quarterbacks come from anywhere and everywhere, don't they?
And on 3rd and 1, breaking through is Urlacher. Big play to stop the rookie Gordon and force a punt.
The Bears haven't had a lot of bright spots, but if you have to say where's the one bright spot, it's this guy right here, number 54. I mean, he's fun to talk to, he's fun to watch play, and he has fun playing. I mean, he read that perfectly. Now you can skate down the line or you can go in. When you find a hole, you can take that hole and pursue from the Rams side of the line of scrimmage. And that's exactly what Brian Urlacher did.
Stepped right through that hole. Of course, he was everything at New Mexico. Receiver, safety, linebacker, running back, you name it. Berger's kick fielded at the 16-yard line by Leon Johnson, and the Rams converge on Johnson at the 24-yard line. 3 minutes into the second quarter in St. Louis, where the Rams are on top 7-3. From the 24-yard line, and we've got some news coming up here as Leon Johnson is the running back in this set, and they give it to Johnson. Stop for no gain, but the big story with the Rams, Melissa, what do you know?
Well, Al, another update on Mark Bulger. Apparently the sprained ligament in his index finger, the right index finger, is worse than they thought. They just went in, took him in for x-rays in the locker room. We'll keep you posted on those results. I saw Mike Martz look over at Kurt Warner and say, get ready.
Yeah, and he's getting ready right now.
Yeah, here's Bulger's injury again. Watch that. You see, he gets his right finger. Rosie Colvin is coming in. He goes to get the ball, and in doing so, he gets his right index finger.
2nd and 10. Rams back off the blitz, rush 4. Then the ball is caught over the middle. They go to the tight end. That's John Davis. And that should be a first down for Chicago.
When I was looking down here in the Rams sideline and watching Kurt Warner warm up, you knew that he was warming up to go in the game. He wasn't just standing up to play catch. And now this is an interesting thing. I was talking to Kurt Warner the other day, and I was asking him. He said, well, the doctors thought he should have 1 more week rest, and that's why he didn't start tonight. Well, the question I had then, and I still have, if you can't start, if you should have 1 week's more rest, what happens if you have to play as a second quarterback?
Well, March didn't want to have to risk starting him tonight as Chandler gets great protection, but then throws a pass that he's lucky wasn't picked off by Dre Bly, intended for Marty Booker.
Oh, and Booker had Dre Bly, too. Had Chris Chandler been able to get about 5 more yards on that ball, that would have been a big play. Dre Bly figures,
he's punishing himself.
I got to warm up. What type of high school kid? I'll get into that. Here's Dre Bly right here. And you watch Marty Booker, he's going to get a step. You see, he has 2 or 3 steps on him right there. If that ball was out in front, that would have been a big, big play for the Bears. Dre Bly is punishing himself doing push-ups.
Sailor, give me 50. 2nd and 10 at the 35-yard line. Johnson, ex-Jet. 43, 3rd and 2, more on Bulger. What do you know, Melissa?
Well, Al, he said that he was losing strength in the finger, that it's definitely swelling up, and that he couldn't feel the ball. So that's what we know at this point. We'll let you know the update on the x-rays as soon as we get them.
He's back in the locker room. Warner ready to come in when the Rams get the football with 10:15 remaining in the first half.
And that was the biggest thing, too, with Kurt Warner, Al. He was talking about getting his strength back in his grip of the ball. That was the last thing to come back.
Bulger leading the league in pass rating. Warner, of course, is the all-time pass rating leader. Chandler deep, and it is incomplete. He tried to go to the running back, the fullback Stanley Pritchett, who caught a touchdown pass last week. Archuleta covering on the play.
That was a good play. I mean, if you're going to go for one, that's exactly the way to do it. What they did is he bootlegged to the right. You see Chandler goes away. Here Pritchett comes right down here. He gets by Archuleta. I was talking about Archuleta being a great tackler, a linebacker in a safety spot, and he covers like that too. If he does have a weakness, you can get things on Adam Archuleta.
So the Bears going for it on 3rd and 2, going deep, and now Maynard forced to punt. This time conventionally. Fair catch called for, made, 16-yard line by Terrence Wilkins. So for the first time since week 4, since September, when he broke his pinky against Dallas, Warner sees action when we come back. The Dallas game on the 29th of September on the shelf. Highest pass rating in the history of the league, 99.9, with 99 touchdown passes. Gets sacked, and what a welcome back that is. Keith Traylor is the welcome wagon.
I'll tell you, when he's a welcome wagon, he is going to smother you. Keith Traylor, you know, that big tackle that usually stuffs a run but can also move. In fact, he was a linebacker before he flew into a tackle. But watch him come down the line. He starts out right here. He was on a stunt, and he's just running right down the line with Kurt Warner. He finds a little hole right there, and then he does a flop job on him. Big defensive tackles will always flop on little quarterbacks.
6'2" and 340 is Traylor. On 2nd and 17, Warner now slings it over the middle, and that's incomplete. Trying to get it into Torrey Holt. Let's go back to a couple of hours before the game when Warner came out to warm up.
Well, you can still see that finger's bothering him. Watch him. He throws the ball, and then he'll grab the finger. And the big thing is the grip. You see, every time he would throw the ball, then he'd grab that little finger. In that little finger right there, he has 4 pins. And so he broke it down this way, and he broke it across this way. And you have to be rusty. I mean, he really didn't even practice with the first offense at all this week.
Last year, he was bothered by a thumb that bothered him all season long as Bruce makes the catch, but doesn't get the first. And John, a lot of people felt that even though Warner said, I'm fine, that thumb was still bothering him earlier this season.
Well, you know, something was bothering him early this season. I know that, you know, I talked to him and talked to coaches, and they said, no, there was nothing bothering him, but he wasn't throwing earlier in the season like Kurt Warner of a couple years ago. They say that he always threw those wobbly spirals. I don't believe that. I always thought he threw a very accurate tight spiral.
So did I, but he was throwing a lot of ducks through the first 3 weeks of the year. Berger, short punt, 39-yard line. Leon Johnson into Rams territory. And then he's taken down by Archuleta, who's all over the field, at the 32. So the Bears will set up shop in Rams territory. 8:23 remaining the opening half on a night that looked as if the Rams would be on their way to a big blowout. But that fumble turned things around, and now Chicago's in pretty good shape. And with 7 or more losses, the last 4 have broken their streaks, including Chicago in '97. That was kind of a rump game, though. That was a game that was moved from Sunday to Monday night as the second Monday night game because the Marlins had to play Game 7 of the World Series in Miami the night before.
What do we call that, a rump?
Rump game. This is caught by the tight end Davis. Rump game and went to about 8% of the country.
You know, my whole life I've never coached in a rump game. I coached every other kind of game at every level, but I never coached in a rump game.
You've never coached in a rump game. You haven't broadcast too many rump games either.
No, never broadcast. I've never seen. I don't think I've ever watched a rump game. But I'll tell you, you know, the Bears have made a couple big plays on special teams. Now, this is their second time they're in scoring position. The first one was off that fake punt, and the second one was this one here off that punt return.
2nd down and 6 from the 29-yard line. Toss back to Thomas. Archuleta comes up, whiffs, but then the Rams are able to corral him at the 27. Now for the Bears, you talk about the difference between last year and this year. They got every break last year. Not very many injuries. Totally opposite. Last year, 8-1 in games decided by 8 points or less. This year, 2-5. They won both games in overtime last year. 0-2 this year. 31 players with 1 or more starts last year. Now through 9 games, the Bears have started 41 players, by far the most in the league this year, and already a franchise record in this, their 10th game. 3rd down and 4. From the 27-yard line. Chandler under pressure. Down he goes. The Rams have another sack. This one will go to Damian Lewis as Chris Chandler gets sacked for the 4th time in the game.
And that's what you want to do. You want to get pressure from the outside, and then as he steps up, get pressure right up the middle.
And here's Bulger back on the field, so the X-rays must have been positive. Or negative.
You see, you watch the pressure from the outside. Now he's going to step up, and he steps right up to this. That's why, you know, your outside speed rushers are always going to come off the corner, but you also need that push in the middle, especially against Chris Chandler.
Here's Edinger now. 48-yard attempt from the 38-yard line. Has the distance and the accuracy. So as we say, those X-rays for Bulger were negative, but that's positive for the Rams, and we'll see if he comes back in. As Chicago is able to, on Edinger's second field goal, turn it into a 7-6 contest. Monday Night Football is being brought to you. Defeated 4-0, but as we say, Kurt Warner is going to get the start next week, so he comes in for 1 series and then goes back to the headset.
Yeah, you can see him putting the gear on the Kurt Warner. Mike Martz calls the plays, gives them to Kurt Warner. Then Kurt Warner calls them in to Mark Bulger.
Here's Edinger. Picked off field at 13-yard line on the run by Terrence Wilkins. Up past 30. Up past the 40, banged out of bounds with a flag down up at the 44-yard line. Flag down back at the 32-yard line.
You know, and I have to go back to what I was saying earlier, that if you don't want to risk him starting him, then you don't want to risk him playing backup.
Holding, number 58 during the return, 10 yards, 1st down.
Don Davis.
So I think if Mark Bulger is okay, or as you say, if the X-rays are negative, then you ought to get him back in there.
And Martz will.
You can see what it is. It was right here. You can see a little thing here, but I think the swelling is in the joint that they were talking about. Heck, if you can pull your pants up with it, you can throw a ball with it.
We'll find out.
That's always been one of the rules.
Find out how accurately in a moment as he comes into the huddle from the 18-yard line. 6:09 to go in the half.
And it can be about accuracy because the whole thing is going to be strength of grip.
From the 18, again with Marshall Faulk inactive tonight. Fake it to Gordon, throw it to Gordon. And the North Dakota State rookie, the 3rd-round draft choice, gets his helmet taken off as he moves it out to the 23-yard line. The bang by Urlacher. Take a look at those numbers. Remember, Warner came out of nowhere in '99, won his first 4 games. But the numbers are obviously very impressive on both counts and fairly similar. The Warner's pass rating was off the charts.
Well, Bulger's 107. I mean, that's not bad there. But yeah, they both started with pretty good teams. I mean, that's part of the secret. I think these guys coming from nowhere.
Gordon on 2nd and 4. Up to the 31-yard line. First down. I mean, you think of the Rams. Lose the Super Bowl, winless preseason, 0-5. Warner's hurt, and Falk's shaky early on. I mean, in Week 5, even Jack Grubman couldn't have made a cockamamie buy recommendation on this team. But here they are.
But the guy that pulled him out of this cockamamie thing, cockamamie or cockamamie?
Mamie.
Cockamamie thing is Marshall Faulk. You know, I think that great players, as I said, they play great in big games, but they also help dig you out of holes when you get in one.
From the 31 on 1st down and 10. Bulger throws right on the money. Ernie Conwell, who has scored the only touchdown in the game. 50-yard gain, 1st down. This is what John was talking about. Marshall Faulk. Week 6 against the then undefeated Raiders, 158 yards with Bulger at quarterback. Next week against the Seahawks, 32 carries, most ever for him, 183 yards. Week 9 against Arizona, 178.
I tell you, and that's a special player, and those are the kinds of things that very, very special players do.
53 games, came over from Indianapolis before the '99 season.
But the catch occurred inbounds.
Going to be a challenge here on the last call. Dick Duran is going to challenge Ernie Conwell having possession and being inbounds on what would have been a 15-yard pickup. So we'll go back and take a peek.
Ernie Conwell's having a big night. I mean, usually he blocks and catches a couple of passes. One, oops.
I think this is going to be a good challenge.
Yeah, he catches the ball right there, 1 foot. Nope, he doesn't have it in.
Nope.
Yeah, that is a good challenge. You know, the Rams were staying in the same hotel that we stayed in, and I rode down the elevator when I was coming over here today with Ernie Conwell. I said, "How you doing?" He said, "I feel great." And then he's playing like he felt great on the elevator.
Rushed for a touchdown, caught a 52-yard pass, but here the replay is going to take it back. And instead of a 1st down, they're going to march it back 15 yards.
But in all that, I think that Mark Bulger looks like his grip is okay, because, you know, that was I mean, it's going to come back, as you say, but still that was a real good throw by Mark Bulger.
Jerry Austin is taking a peek. Austin rarely overturns challenges. I mean, our man Steve Hurd, who comes up with everything, told us earlier today that Austin and Ed Hockley are the two guys who are the two referees who rarely overturn calls on the field.
But I think here, unless you say, okay, we have to get when he catches, okay, he has possession, and there the right foot gets down, the left foot doesn't. I don't know what he can be spending so much time watching.
Well, Austin, as I say, he has only overturned 6 of 26 challenges. In other words, accepted what the challenging coach would like to have done.
What would you call that? Is there a word for that? Like contrarian or obstinate? Or
obstinate would be pretty good.
Well, he has to go away from being obstinate on this one.
Yeah, normally, well, he's very proud of his crew.
After reviewing the play, in the process of making the catch, the receiver's left foot comes up off the ground. He then has his right foot down, his second foot, the left foot, steps on the line, incomplete pass. The challenge is upheld.
So I told you he wasn't obstinate.
31.
Pretty tough on national television to be obstinate over that call.
No, but again, going back to the throw and to Mark Bulger, I mean, he looks like whatever problem that he's having with his finger is kind of over now. Or it may keep getting worse. You know, the toughest thing with that passing hand, besides the grip, is if you watch here, when he takes the ball, he has to put his right hand up underneath the center, and the snap comes right up on that right hand, and that can be pretty traumatic.
Makes it 2nd and 10 on what had been a 1st and 10 play. And then Bulger flings it out, and that's incomplete, and that's off the mark as well to Torrey Holt.
You know, again, anytime it's that right hand, whether it's the thumb or the finger, you see his right hand is right up here. This is his left hand, so the ball is going to be brought up and jammed right into that right hand. You see, it comes up there, so he has to take the brunt of the snap the rest of the game. So that's where you would say that the thing should calm down, but taking those snaps and taking that ball right on that index finger, you can't let it calm down.
3rd and 10. Timmerman moved.
Well, when that happens, you know that defense is going to jump, don't you?
62 offense, 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
Adam Timmerman seems to do that, and I think he's a heck of a player, and he's good for this team. He's good in the locker room, but he tends to have 1 or 2 of those per game.
It's been a great pickup for them through the years, starting with the Packers. Now in his 8th season, started in 4 Super Bowls, 2 as a Packer, 2 as a Ram. 3rd and 15, and now Bulger has to take a timeout, so all of a sudden the Rams, looking pretty well oiled, lose a challenge, have to take a timeout and get a penalty. 3rd down and long, and Bulger's going to air it out, but into traffic, and it's intercepted by Mike Brown. That one fluttered, and Brown picks it off for Chicago.
Well, that's one of those where you can say, well, that's as good as a punt, you know, and it probably was. It was 3rd and long anyway, and if you don't complete it, you're going to have to punt it. Here's what he's doing right here, and you see Mike Brown, he's just a safety. He's sitting way back here. He's just waiting for it. He shows up right there. The ball is over Isaac Bruce's head, right into Mike Brown's arms. See, he just let that one go, and that's a tough one to throw when that safety is sitting in the middle of the field. In other words, were you throwing that to Isaac Bruce, or were you throwing that one to Mike Brown? But unless he felt that, and what the heck, if I don't complete it, we're going to have to punt anyway, and that'll put him down there in the 20-yard line.
It's the equivalent of a 47-yard punt. They were at their own 26. They go to the other 27.
That's probably what Mark Bulger is saying right now. Well, I knew. I saw the safety there. I just threw it to him, knew we'd tackle, and knew we don't have to punt.
Mitch Berger's saying, what are you talking about? They punted at 57 yards. From the 27-yard line, 1st down. Bears showing a lot of resiliency tonight. Up to the 31-yard line goes Anthony Thomas. Big play, of course, in the game was Roosevelt Coleman with a sack, a forced fumble. Chicago looked like they were going to go down 14-0 early, march down the field, get a field goal, get another one, 7-6.
Well, and the big thing, you know, we were talking earlier, you know, and John Shoup, the offensive coordinator, was saying that we'd like to get Chris Chandler off to a good start. You know, get him through that 1st quarter, get him into the 2nd quarter of the game, and still be close. And that's exactly what the Bears have done.
Chandler, 6 out of 11, 51 yards, but he's been sacked 4 times. Gives it to Thomas. Thomas squirts to the 35, a couple of yards shy of the first. Leonard Little with the tackle. 3rd down upcoming.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think this whole Bear offense is starting to calm down now. And we talked about how when someone comes in, they've lost 7 in a row, and they don't have any confidence, and you want to jump on them right away. The Rams kind of did that, then pulled in the throttle, and now you can just feel that as this game goes on, that the Bears are getting confident. This guy always has confidence. Right? I'd take him. If I had a choice to say, who you want to pick, I'll pick him.
The defense rests, at least for the moment, on 3rd down and 2, and they give the ball to Thomas, and the second-year back out of Michigan is able to pick up the 1st down. Anthony Thomas, 2nd-round draft choice, broke in with a bang last year. The A-Train came out of Ann Arbor, and with 1,183 yards, 7 touchdowns, helped guide the team to a 13-3 mark. This year, though, Thomas averaging only 3.3 a carry, John, and the Bears are last in yards per carry.
Well, you know, last year they had the same 5 guys started every game in the offensive line. This year they haven't had that. I mean, they have a rookie left tackle, a 1st-year guy playing left guard, a new center tonight.
And a play here where Marty Booker, who threw a touchdown pass last week, throws incomplete. It was tough for Booker to get loose that time. But last week, Marty was able to hit Marcus Robinson for a touchdown against New England. That takes us to the 2-minute warning. Chicago with the ball, but the Rams have the lead. 7-6 in St. Louis. Quarterback injury situation around the league as well coming up at the half. 2 minutes to the half. 2nd down and 10. Chicago from the 38-yard line. Rams up by a point. Quick flip. Caught. John Davis, tight end, 48-yard line, close to a first.
I think Chris Chandler there, John Shoup saw something. What the Rams are doing on their blitzes, they're bringing their zone dogs, but they're overloading one side or the other. That time they overloaded the right side of the Bear offense, and you can just see Chris Chandler got rid of it quickly to that side. See, here's the overload over here. So you get one more rusher than they have blockers. So what do you have to do? You have to get back quickly, and you have to get the ball out of your hands. Chris Chandler did exactly that. He doesn't want those rib pads to do much work tonight. Chris Chandler's kind of settled down this entire offense. There he is in the first half, and we knew that they're going to go after him. I mean, you know, things didn't start real well for him. He got his toe stepped on, and the blitzes were getting there, and every place that he went, the Rams had someone there to hit him. But I'll tell you, he did two things. He protected the ball, and when he did throw it, he threw it quickly.
Numbers aren't great, but he's kept them in the game. 3rd and 1. They try to convert and can't. Leon Johnson is tackled by Ryan Pickett. And now the Rams would be well advised to take a timeout since they're going to get the ball on a punt.
I tell you, Ryan Pickett is really an improved player, and he's playing well tonight. Watch him. He's right here. Now he's going to come into here and then come right down the line. Watch him. He hits Doggins right there, straightens him up, gets on that inside shoulder, right down the line, gets penetration, and then Archuleta's right there. Watch it from the umpire cam. This is what it looks like if you're down there in the pits. You just get by and then you lay out. There you go. Pig lays out. He got some laying out.
Early start on halftime.
Now you're talking. You just throw everything on a plate and eat it. Everything.
Rams took their timeout. Low snap. Maynard gets it off. Fair catch called for. Wilkins takes it into the 19, and so the Rams will have one timeout. And Bulger coming in. Again, 7 days to Monday. Torrey Holt, big play Holt. Take a look at what he did all week long, and then John and I will talk about the injuries to Tommy Maddox and to Donovan McNabb and to Brian Greasy. Update you on that. Take a look at the updated Bowl Championship Series standings coming up on the halftime show.
This is one of those things where you want a prevent, but you don't want to get too soft. You can see they're just using 3 defensive linemen, so they're going to rush 3 and cover with 8.
Graphic illustrates how vulnerable they've been in the last couple of minutes of either half, as Troy Edwards, the ex-Steeler who came over at the beginning of the season, makes the catch here.
Yeah, I think somewhere with a young quarterback like Mark Bulger in there, you don't want to play too soft. I think somewhere in here you want to pressure him.
2nd and 1. Guns it over the middle. That's caught. 48. Isaac Bruce into Bear territory and stepping out of bounds inside the 40. They'll mark it at the 39.
I'll tell you one thing about Mike Martz and his offense. If you give him just a little time, they're going to get back there and they're going to go deep. I mean, here's the thing we see again. They did bring a 4th rusher on here, but he got blocked. It was Brian Urlacher, and they gave. Look at the time that Mark Bulger has just to sit back, and he threw that right between 2 guys. Now you talk about accuracy. That's about as accurate as a quarterback can throw a football.
Now there's action up front. Bears saying they were induced. Ransom away. John St. Clair and Roosevelt Colvin.
We have offsides on the defense, encroachment. Number 70 just made a normal adjustment.
Alfonso Boone.
Here's that last play, and you talk about accuracy. I mean, throwing that ball, and what the Rams do is they throw into windows. They throw on timing and into windows. That was a very, very tight window to Isaac Bruce.
Yeah, I'm surprised Todd McMillan didn't put his hands out to try to knock it down. Ball went right by him. 1st and 5 from the 34-yard line. Bulger going deep, and a flag is thrown as Holt makes the catch out of bounds, but there's a penalty down, and that's McMillan who is covering on the play, 26. A push off or defense?
I think a lot of these things.
Number 81 offense, 10 yards. Repeat first down.
I was just going to say a lot of these times it's the offensive guy, but they very seldom call the offensive guy because it's usually one of those things where they get contact and both of them will push. But watching Torrey Holt here, he didn't argue at all about that play. McMillan has great position here. I don't see it yet. I don't know unless he got his left hand up there somewhere.
A little push there.
Yeah,
in the back.
And sometimes that's all it takes, you know, is because a guy's turning. All you want to do is not push him down, just reroute him a little.
1st and 15. And that's caught. And out of bounds goes Holt for a first down to the 22-yard line. His first catch of the game.
You know, it's about two things. It's about pass protection. They're giving Bulger great time here. And the other thing is a quick release. First of all is the time. Look at the pocket he has. He can wait, step up, and just throw that ball. You see that quick release and that accuracy? I mean, this guy is something. I mean, I watch him practice, and every ball he throws is like that.
1st and 10, 49 ticks left. Rams with one timeout. Bulger. That's accurate. Right into the arms of Gordon. Touchdown. You could have Warner to Falk, or you can have Bulger to Gordon. Take your pick. It all looks the same in St. Louis.
And that's the thing. And again, it's a quick release. It's a good pass protection. It's being able to see, being able to understand. And these two, I mean, here you got a rookie running back, as you say, a guy playing his 4th game at quarterback, but they look like they've been together for 10 years.
Offsides against the defense obviously decline. Rams 12 times this season.
54,
in 10 games have gone 80 or more yards on a touchdown drive. They made this one look very easy, and Wilkins boots it through. So the Bears keep hanging in, staying right with the Rams. And then the Rams say enough of that, and they're up by 8 again.
I think when you say the greatest show on turf, I think this is what we're talking about. Again, you see the Bears, they have the 3-man line. They're bringing a little extra pressure up the middle, but look at the time Bulger had. I mean, he has time. Look at him. He's looking out here. And again, once he decides to throw, that ball is up there quickly and out of his hand. I mean, a big part of that was Mark Bulger, and I'll say another big part of it was this Ram offensive line, or lack of rush as a Bear defensive line.
Bulger in the half is thrown for 211 yards. Speaking of turf, John, the Chicago Bears in the middle of November have still not played a game on grass and won't until they go to Green Bay on December 1st, playing their home games in Champaign. That's artificial, and every road game has been artificial this season.
And the Bears are a team that are built to play on grass. I mean, they're like the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they're built to play on grass, in weather, and then you get them on artificial turf in a dome. This isn't a Bear-type atmosphere. Nor is it a Green Bay-type atmosphere, as they proved yesterday in Minnesota.
Yep.
There's the offensive line right there. Orlando Pace, I think one of the best tackles in all of football.
Wilkins kickoff. Deep. Merritt, Ahmad Merritt from a couple of yards in the end zone. Gets banged down as he crosses the 30-yard line. Damon Moore hit him. Take a look at the standings now in the NFC West, where the 49ers went down to to the Chargers yesterday. So the Rams would be 2 back, Arizona and Seattle at the bottom here. But the Rams, in effect, would be 3 back, because the 49ers, in all likelihood, if these teams wind up with the same record, and even if the Rams were to beat the 49ers in the final game of the season, looks like the 49ers will own the tiebreaker.
So the Rams, I mean, when you start 0-5, you've dug yourself a hole, and you're going to have to continue digging out of that hole the entire season. And this is something that isn't just a game or 2 or 3 or 4. This is a whole bunch of games.
First and 10 from the 32 as Chandler throws, and it's caught over the middle as Booker then slips down. 2 timeouts left for Chicago, and they take one of them right here. Had a chance to hear from Mark Bulger about the opportunity that he's been given over the last month.
Guys like me, late round picks, don't get many opportunities, and sometimes you just get one opportunity, and this might have been it for me. And you know, if I would have went 0-4, then I might be out of work now forever. So just to get the opportunity and grab it like I did, that's, you know, what I'm most proud about myself.
You know, John, a lot of guys, I mean, we talked to them yesterday, and they'll tell you, hey, I'm a team guy, and I don't mind that Warner's going to come back next week, and blah, 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 blah. And they'll fib to you, let's put it that way. But this kid, he's like almost too good to believe.
No, he's fresh, isn't he? And you know, I mean, that smile and really excited to be there. And every player and every coach will tell you that the guy never changes. In practice, in a game, he's the same all the time.
And Chandler goes down again, and that's 5 sacks, and that's James Whitley for the 2nd time. The backup corner comes in off the corner to dump Chandler.
But what they're doing is they're using 6 defensive backs, and they've been using that defense quite a bit. The 4 defensive linemen, 1 linebacker, Tommy Polley, with 6 defensive backs. Again, that's a zone dog. They overload the left side of the defense, the right side of the offense, and drop back on the other side. You know, the Rams are probably blitzing and zone dogging and pressuring more against the Chicago Bears than I can remember ever seeing them.
The injury is to Mark Colombo, and the Bears have been forced to take their final timeout here as well, because even if it were an injury timeout, they'd have a runoff of the clock. And this is not a good scene here. Colombo was their #1 draft choice out of Boston College.
You see, he's number 75, and you see him right there. That's exactly what it is. Oof. I think that bag that they brought out is that here's Colombo, number 75. He's blocking on a stun, and this is a tough thing when you start to block and they roll up behind you, and the pile comes from behind you. You don't see it coming, and that injury we see more than anything, where you know a guy is engaged in blocking and gets rolled up upon from behind
and bent over.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
And so it's I mean, the Bears have just seen too much of this all season long. It has been that kind of a year after last season. Pretty much an injury-free year. This, of course, is a scene that we're seeing all too familiarly in a lot of stadiums every week.
As you've said, they've had 41 different starters this year, the Bears. Mark Colombo was their #1 draft choice from Boston College.
Well, there are the guys they've lost, and you know, we saw David Terrell, an emerging wideout who got hurt in the Monday night game in October. Rex Tucker is out for the season. Kreutz out tonight, and Philip Daniels, Ted Washington down near the bottom of the list. That may be their biggest loss of the season. Played in the first 2 games, the big defensive tackle, and they really haven't recovered from his loss. And there's Olin Kreutz, who's missing tonight's game, the Pro Bowl center, because he had an appendectomy on Monday.
You know, and that's what he's thinking. You know, another offensive lineman, another one of our group, and they've just been. That group has been devastated this year. You see that bag that they pulled out was that splint that they have.
Yep.
And you can see they have a splint on the left leg there of Mark Colombo.
So the 6'7", 320-pound rookie will go back to the locker room.
And I think that you know that he was coming. We watched him earlier, and when I watch film, I always watch the offensive line, and kind of in my head, I judge him and give him grades and stuff, and I was impressed with Mark Colombo. I mean, he was starting to play, and that's of the offensive line, of the 5 positions of the offensive line, the toughest is a left tackle to play.
What a feeling. In pain. The CEO Ted Phillips, president of the Bears. I mean, you're in pain. You're being carted off. You know you're probably done for the season after an injury like that. You know you're going to be on an operating table. I mean, it's like everything comes down to
I mean, that's the tough thing. And as you say, we're seeing it all the time. I mean, this we can say it's not a violent game. This is a violent game. And when you have big, strong guys with collisions, you're going to have things happen. No one wants them to happen.
Bernard Robertson takes his spot, 74, second-year tackle out of Tulane. 3rd down and 12. Flip it to Johnson, and he goes nowhere as the Rams gang tackle him. And so the Rams come on at the end of the first half after Chicago had hung in with them. And down by 1, flag down here.
Yep, there's a lot of stuff down. There's a helmet down, there's a flag down, and the Rams should take a timeout, and I think they have. I mean, when you get them going backwards, you want to keep them going backwards.
We got a personal foul. Throwing a helmet by the defense. 15 yards. Automatic first down.
You can't even take your helmet off. It should be 30 yards. 15 for taking your helmet off, and then another 15 for throwing it.
Yeah, did you see, wasn't it Dre Bly last week when he when he recovered that ball and then took his helmet off?
Well, it's Johnson's helmet, and then Little throws it.
You can't do that to a man. And look at him. You got him. The whistle blows, and then you take his helmet off. Now that's bad enough right there. Sure. And then you pick it up and throw it. At least that gives the Bears the ball back.
Absolutely. With 10 seconds. 1st and 10.
It would have been 4th down, and the Rams did take timeout, and the Bears would have had to punt.
Marty Booker's going to take the snap, and he's going to throw his second pass of the game if he can get it off, but he barely does, and the pass is incomplete. So Booker threw a touchdown pass last week. Throws a beautiful spiral. He was a high school quarterback in Louisiana, but there was nobody to throw to there.
I think remember last week when Chris Chandler got hurt, Jim Miller came in and had the bad elbow and shoulder and couldn't throw, and they had to have Marty Booker throw the ball. That was a big part of their offense. Here it is last week. See, it's on reverse. He comes on reverse, and as you say, he throws a pretty good tight spiral. Not only did he throw one, but Leon Johnson threw one.
To Booker. Doesn't that say it all when the Bears, and we've talked about their quarterback history, you go to a wideout to throw what you hope will be a last gasp Hail Mary at the end of a half. And they ended with a conventional run by Johnson, and Bulger will trot off after a 211-yard half. And an 8-point lead for the St. Louis Rams. So coming up next will be the Lexus halftime show when we come back after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC station.
5 times. He said, I've challenged every single player to individually do his job better. He is disgusted with their short yardage running game, but overall, he feels like they are still in this.
Brand new left tackle, inexperienced left guard, new center taking over for Kreutz. That's going to be tough to do. 1st and 10, and the catch is made up at the 40-yard line by Marty Booker, who's taken down by Dre Bly. Numbers through the first 30 minutes. Bulger had a 211-yard passing half. 213 total for the team right there. And despite those 2 turnovers, John, double the yardage, 8-point lead.
Yeah, and that's how the Bears have stayed in this game. I mean, they've gotten a couple plays from their special teams, and they haven't had any turnovers. because they haven't had a heck of a lot of offense either. And somewhere, as Dick Duron says, they need some pass protection, especially on second and third down.
2nd and 5, and Duron challenging that line to create some space, and Thomas takes the ball close to a first down up at the 46-yard line.
I think it's a lot easier, obviously, to pass protect on first down than it is second down. And it's a lot easier on second down than it is third down or third and long. So those are the situations that they want to stay out of, because if they don't, you can see Chris Chandler was hit 12 times. He was knocked down 8. I mean, they've really gone after Chris Chandler and batted him around.
1st and 10 after the 5-yard gain from the 46-yard line. Chandler, quick strike to Des White, and Des White makes his first catch of the game.
Yeah, you can see that that's exactly what they're trying to do to help their pass protection, come out and throw on first down. That's when the Rams play run tough. That's when Adam Archuleta gets up. That's when they play 8 men in the box and those kinds of things. Then get the second down. Now you can run or pass. This isn't a bad passing down, because if it's incomplete, you still have third and short.
There's Aeneas Williams, the great cornerback through the years with the Cardinals and the Rams, who's done for the season. 2nd down and 2 from the 46-yard line. Go to the ground. Thomas picks up the first down, takes it to the St. Louis 42.
And now I would think the way they're playing this, now they would come back on first down and pass again. I mean, this isn't a bad rhythm type of thing to do. And then if you can complete that first down pass, then you can get that second down run.
Don Shoup, a very young offensive coordinator, sending in the play to Chris Chandler, 15th year, 7 different teams. Lovie Smith, the defensive coordinator. Chandler in '98 taking Atlanta to the Super Bowl. Chris flings it, and it's a little behind the intended receiver, Marcus Robinson.
And see, and that's the problem with that thing. You know, when you get the first down and you complete the pass, then you can run or pass on second down, and it's a pretty good thing. Now, when you go incomplete on first down, and that's your plan, then you create second and long. You see here, as you said, he's trying to throw to the left here, and it's just a little behind him, although you can make that play. Now, I would think with what the Bears are trying to do, I would think after you throw incomplete on first down with this plan, I think you'd come back and run on second down, second and long.
Play clock running down on 2nd and 10 from the 42. Fake the draw, buy some time to the outside, caught Booker, who got position on Dre Bly, picks up the first at the 29.
Well, Dick Duron said that he challenged that offensive line, and I'm surprised that the Ram defense goes for a play action pass on first down, but they do. And you see, they all get packed in there, and Chris Chandler has the time. I mean, he was looking to the right. He was trying to throw to the right, but he had a chance to slide back and throw it out here to the left to Marty Booker. Bears come out looking pretty good.
Yeah, hanging in the game.
Great mixture.
1st and 10 to the 29-yard line. Pressure on Chandler, gets it away, and might as well have been an incomplete pass because they would have lost yardage had Thomas come up with it. 2nd and 10. Chris Chandler, the son-in-law of John Brody, and nice to hear Chris telling us yesterday that John, who suffered a stroke about 1.5 years ago, making real good progress. And our best to John and Sue Brody.
Remember John when he played with the 49ers? He was a great passer. I mean, he was a great passer at Stanford, a great passer for the 49ers. And one of the, how the screen pass is kind of coming back now? John Brody threw a screen pass better than anyone has ever thrown.
2nd and 10 from the 29-yard line. To the outside to Robinson for a short gain.
That's exactly what Chris Chandler is doing. What they talked about last night is that short drop, shorter patterns, get rid of the ball quickly, get it out of there. Don't hold the ball. And I think when he was taking those hits earlier and those knockdowns and stuff is when he was holding the ball. And now, as you can see, that ball is coming out of there. 1, 2, 3, and on that third step, that ball's out.
3rd and 5. 4 minutes into the 3rd period, opening drive of the half. from the 29. They pick up the Archuleta blitz. Pritchett makes the catch, and the fullback moves the chains as he gets to the 14-yard line.
And I'll tell you, Chris Chandler really took a shot. You see the blitz, but the guy that they didn't block is Leonard Little. You're going to see Archuleta. He's going to come up, and then the pressure is going to come from this side right here. You see Leonard Little, just as he was outside of that picture. I mean, he got rid of the ball, but just as he throws the ball, watch Leonard Little right there. I'll tell you, you know, when a quarterback gets it like that, he gets it when the guy hits it, and then when he hits the turf.
From the 14. Pritchett, and he gets taken down by Tommy Polley. And this is where the Rams have really stiffened this year. Red zone defense under Lovie Smith. You know, the Rams statistics are so skewed when you look at the points they've given up this season. They came into the game, they gave up 196 points, but they've given up 8 return touchdowns and 7 conversions. That's 55 points off returns.
Right, and the reason they're so tough in this red zone is because, you know, they bend but don't break all over the field, and then they pressure or blitz when they get in the red zone. Here they come again.
Yep, 2nd and 9. And exploiting the blitz is Thomas for the touchdown, and an upcoming 2-point conversion to tie the game. So the Rams show blitz. They do blitz. Villarreal makes a great block.
I'll tell you, that was a heck of a call because it's 2nd and long. They're going to come all the way on a pass block. I watch Chris Valerio right there. He makes that block right there, and what a hole. I mean, Anthony Thomas could have just walked right through that thing.
I gave Chris the Latin pronunciation in either tongue. Good block, good call. 14-12, and now the 2-point conversion. Instead, what was that all about?
I think it's so early in the game that they're just they don't get to that counting thing till the 4th quarter.
I don't know. I go the other way on that one.
See the limited edition 007 Ford Thunderbird in Die Another Day.
An aerial shot and coverage of downtown St. Louis as you look at it right there, provided by Budweiser. Thomas scoring.
Dick Geron challenged his offensive line. They picked up the challenge.
Yeah. 1-yard line. Terrence Wilkins. Bang him down at the 24. Larry Wiggum, great special teams performer. Into the Pro Bowl as a special teamer. Makes the tackle. The big cat in Chandler. Exultant. The Bears didn't go for 2. You have a chance to tie the game, to start afresh. You're coming off a great drive. But Geron opted to go for just the 1. They still trail by 1. And Bulger's throw is caught out in the flat by Torrey Holt. John, I mean, Geron went to Yale.
Yeah.
What do we know? He went to Ding Dong School.
And I agree with what Dick Geron did. I mean, I would have done the same thing. I think that, you know, you finally get a rhythm going. You finally get your pass protection down, and you want to do something. You know, just kick the extra point. And you know how they always say, you know, in golf, like you play 2 or 3 holes and you're down or something, and someone will always say there's a lot of golf left to be played. I think Dick Geron is just saying that there's a lot of football left to be played.
Yeah, I still go for the deuce there, even though maybe Dick's thinking if the Rams score and Chicago hadn't convert, then he still needs 2 scores. Caught out in the flat here by Torrey Holt. And Holt goes to the 45-yard line. That's a first down. How'd the Rams feel at the half? Melissa, what do you know?
Well, in the first half, when Mark Bulger went into the locker room to get x-rays on his right index finger, the Rams doctors gave him a pain-killing injection. Mike Martz said that's why he was able to return. And Martz said he was so impressed with Bulger's performance when he came back in. He said he is great with that two-minute offense. That is Mark. The one adjustment that he does want to make, special teams. He said we have got to clean that up.
Pain-killing injection. You know what that does? That numbs your finger. You can't feel it.
You would think.
I mean, that's amazing that he has thrown as well as he's had since he's had the injury with a numb right finger.
First and 10, and didn't throw particularly well right there, and threw it behind Ricky Proehl. It may have been deflected.
You know, that surprises me. I mean, that surprises me that, one, that they did numb it, and two, that you can play with that. I mean, because, you know, it's the index finger. It's this one right here, and that's where you grip and you get all this, and it didn't seem to bother him then.
No, right on the money. Looked good.
I mean, he did. I mean, he looked as good as anyone in that last drive just before the half.
If you joined us late, Kurt Warner had to come in when Bulger went back for those x-rays. Played one series, 3 and out, and Warner will be the starter, hell or high water, next week in Washington. Mark said no questions asked. Conwell breaks the tackle. Brown thrusts him out of bounds, but not until Conwell gets to the 38 for a first down. 17-yard pickup.
Yeah, I don't know how you can have a painkiller injection, have a numb right hand, and throw a spiral like that. That tight and that accurate. This guy's something. Now, they say, I know Kurt Warner's going to start next week, but I'll guarantee you that there's going to be a quarterback controversy, and there has to be. I mean, how do you take a kid that's playing like this and not play him? That's tough. I know who Kurt Warner is and all those things, but that's a tough decision. But as you said, Mike Martz has already made it.
From the 38, Mike said it wasn't that tough. Flag down. Full start.
70 offense, 5 yards, still first down.
And they're going to give Warner the job back with 3 road games. They go to Washington, who may start Sonny Jurgensen for all we know at quarterback this week. Then they go to Philadelphia without McNabb. Then a tough one in Kansas City.
Yeah, and, you know, the thing where the controversy comes up is, say that Kurt Warner goes in, say he throws a couple interceptions. Say they get a couple touchdowns behind. Do they just keep going with them, or do they bring in a Bulger? That's where that thing won't go away.
First and 15, and that's dropped by Holt a little bit behind him. What about that change of quarterbacks in the whole situation? Here's what Bulger had to say.
It's not fun ever going back to the bench, but you know, when you have Kurt Warner out there taking your spot, it's not some guy that hasn't done anything. It's 2-time NFL MVP, Super Bowl MVP. So, you know, before the season, if you would have asked, there's a controversy between me and Kurt. You know, I think 99% of us said you're crazy. So just to be in this position, I'm thankful, and you know, that's the right decision. Kurt has to go back in.
And he's sincere about it. We talked to him yesterday. It's not just empty verbiage. Second down and 15 now. Play clock all the way down. And no play here. They're going to get a delay. John, if you were coaching the Rams, you were back on the field and you're coaching the Rams. What do you?
Offense, 5 yards, still second down.
What do you do in Washington next week in this situation?
Well, I thought you were going to say, what do I do? I do here next week. I don't know in Washington.
No, I mean, what do you do if you're the Rams in Washington?
If I'm the Rams, I would continue to play Bulger. I think that the guy is so hot, and the Rams offense have such a great rhythm right now that I wouldn't destroy that. I know Kurt Warner's my quarterback. I'd probably say that, but I would continue to play Mark Bulger.
Second down and 20 from the 48. Bulger flips it to the outside. Blocked by Troy Edwards. As long as we're on Washington. Now, if you're in Washington, do you start Jurgensen next week, or do you go with Billy Kilmer?
Yeah, I've always thought that Jurgensen was a better starter. You know, and then you save Kilmer and you bring him in later, kind of to throw him off balance, because Sonny, you know what he's going to do, where he's going to throw one of the great passes of all time. And then Kilmer comes in, you know, and he'll throw him kind of lopsided on you. But Norm Van Brocklin, the old Dutchman, I tell you, he was one of the great ones. Led the Philadelphia Eagles to a championship in 1960.
Then he went to, well, before that, a Ram. I mean, that was one of the great quarterback controversies ever. Third down and 12. And breaking through is Mike Caldwell, the ex-Eagle, for a big sack.
Yeah, that was perfectly timed by Caldwell. What you do is you just kind of wait until they start their block, and you're going to see that's a nickel, and Caldwell is right here in the middle. Now you have a three-man line, and you wait, and you have your nose tackle go one way. See, the nose tackle goes to the left and takes two blockers, then that leaves none for Caldwell, and he comes right up the middle. I think that was on Andy McCullum.
Mitch Berger. Leon Johnson's going to let it go. And it takes a good bounce for the Bears. They'll get the ball out at the 20-yard line. 5:33. Big sack by Caldwell on third down. 5:33 in the third remaining. Rams by a point. 5.5 to go, third period. Good ball game. Rams up 14-13. The Bears have it from their 20. Thomas tripped on his own teammate in the backfield up to the 20-yard line. Line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, we talked about how the Bears were going to throw the shorter passes and get rid of the ball quickly, and you'll see here this is where Chris Chandler has done most of the damage. 5 for 6, between the line of scrimmage and 15 yards deep, and 5 for 6, 6 for 6 in the middle, 1 for 1 on the right. He's only thrown 4 passes deeper than 15 yards, but that was their plan, and it's not a bad plan.
2nd and 11. Chandler, pressure from the backside, but he could feel it and steps up and hits the tight end John Davis to the 25, setting up 3rd and 5.
Yeah, that's when the middle of the line has to do a good job. As you say, the pressure comes from the outside. Now that won't bother you as long as you can step up. Where they were getting in trouble earlier is the pressure would come from the outside, and then he would go to step up. See, you have to keep this solid in here. Now, if this is solid and stay solid, then you can step up. But when that collapses upon you and you can't step up, that's when you get in trouble.
3rd down and 5 from the 25. Crowd imploring their defense. And the defense answers. Adam Archuleta with a sack. 6 sacks of Chandler tonight.
And no one got on Adam Archuleta at all. I mean, he came up there in that blitzing situation, and he just comes, and no one blocks him. I mean, he just timed that thing up perfectly. Watch him. He's going to be right here, and he's going to come in and hit this hole and go through it untouched. Watch, he times it, times it, times it. No one even looks at Adam Archuleta. You have to count him in that position.
Maynard. High kick. Ooh, and it's McMillan who bangs in to Wilkins, precipitating the flag.
And the first thing you say, was that a fair catch? It doesn't make any difference. You can't interfere with the punt returner's right to catch the ball. So if it was a fair catch, it's a penalty against him. If it's not a fair catch, you have to let him catch the ball. You see, and he hit him just as the ball got there, and that interfered with his right to catch the punt.
Right. Wilkins never called for the fair catch, and McMillan hit him a smidgen early.
Interference with an opportunity to make a catch. Number 26. 15 yards. First down.
Going to give the Rams the ball just about at midfield. The Gateway Arch in St. Louis.
Are you ready for some football?
We go to San Francisco on Monday night. The Philadelphia Eagles 7-3 on top of the NFC East without Donovan McNabb. Coy Detmer against San Francisco. Colts Broncos. Steve Berline gets the start for Denver Sunday night on ESPN. This drive begins from midfield with Gordon, the third-round pick, the rookie from North Dakota State, staying inbounds all the way down to the 19-yard line.
Push a button, get a spin. That's what he learned from Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk does that as well as anyone has ever done it. When you start to get hit, instead of taking the hit on or taking it aside, you do a spin. And that's exactly what Lamar Gordon does here. Watch it right there. You see, he gets a spin, and then his next 2 steps are up the field. Then he gets to the sideline, doesn't go out of bounds.
And so Lamar Gordon getting the start because of the sprained ankle for Marshall Faulk, who probably will be ready by Sunday. Gets the ball again. Urlacher takes him down. A little bit more on Lamar Gordon. Let's go to Melissa.
Well, Al, I asked Rams general manager Charlie Armey what he saw in a Division II running back from North Dakota State. And he said, I saw a guy who could do the same things that Marshall Faulk does. Not on the same level as Faulk, but he runs instinctively. He has great vision. And he said we all felt that he made competitive plays, meaning when you need a play, you can find it in him. And one of the things that he felt good about was the fact that Rams defensive coordinator Lovie Smith is very good friends with the head coach at North Dakota State. So he felt that they got an honest and an accurate evaluation on Gordon.
There's Charlie Armey sitting up there with John Shaw tonight. Very proud of the man he found on 2nd down and 12. Bulger goes to the end zone, and it is incomplete. Intended for Isaac Bruce, covered by Mike Brown.
You know, the one thing that the Rams are doing to help Bulger is they keep an extra blocker in there. You know, I mean, they've kept the fullback in to help on the right side. They've kept the tight end over in there on that right side, because if they do have a problem, the Rams, it's their right tackle, John St. Clair. But he's been doing a good job tonight, but a good job with help. Although he doesn't look like he's going to get any help on this play.
Urlacher's coming. Urlacher's got him. Came off the edge, lined up at what would be the right end position. In effect, kept sneaking up there, and nobody picked them up.
You saw it, and there was no way that Mark Bulger saw it. You said he usually plays linebacker. Here he comes to the outside, and he's going to come right around here. He started in the middle, goes to the outside, and no one accounted for him. It was a 3-man line, and they had their slide going to the right, so they were blocking it like a 3-man line. And then the 4th guy that came was Brian Urlacher.
The Rams will eschew the opportunity to kick what would be about a 49-yard field goal. And instead, it's Mitch Berger lining up the punt, and they might as well take a delay call here, because if you're going to pooch it, you could use the extra 5 yards.
Prior to the false start, we have delay of game on the offense.
Now, most times you turn that down because you don't want to give him that extra 5 yards. I think I would take this, just because you know the Rams are so explosive. Mike Martz may come up with a trick or something. I would want him to have to go 5 more yards. I would take this penalty the way the Bears are.
And they did. Moving it back to the 36-yard line. So Berger will take the snap at about the 50.
Now at least you know he has to punt it.
Leon Johnson is back at the 10.
That's going to go 5 more yards back.
False start, 58, offense.
A couple of more of these, he's going to go from a Cocker Spaniel right to a full German Shepherd. Forget the pooch.
Yeah, he can't. Well, he can probably still pooch from here.
Yep. Mini pooch.
Just kick it way high, you know, and let it drop inside the 10 like that.
Fair catch called for, and Johnson had to run a long way to grab it at the 18-yard line.
Because he didn't drop it inside the 10. That's why he had to run a long way.
1:04 remaining in the third. Tight game. Streak, Jim Hannafin going over things with his offensive line as they rest. And the Bears now from the 19-yard line, first down. Out in the flat, caught by Stanley Pritchett, taken down by the ever-present Archuleta.
Hey, have you over the years been a Cankle watcher?
No.
I'm a Cankle watcher from way back. And Jeff Scanina right there has the biggest cankles. You see where your calf comes down here and it joins your ankles? That area is called cankles. You know, where you don't have, and those are the biggest cankles I've ever seen in my life.
Can you get canker sores on your cankles?
No. You get Achilles tendon things because your tendon goes right up through your ankle.
Second down and 9. Anthony Thomas stopped by Archuleta.
I'm a cankle watcher from way back. Now here's a guy with no cankles. I mean, you look here. I mean, the ankle. There's nothing going on there. So that has to be a kicker.
That has to be Berger. I think that's got to be Mitch Berger. Am I right, Freddie?
It's
in
either
the truck?
It's either Berger.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that was a good guess.
Yeah.
You know, the opposite of cankles is what you know good.
Absolutely. We'll be back. All kinds of good stuff.
I'll tell you, here's Adam Archuleta. They better get him blocked because he's been blitzing in these situations.
3rd and 6 as we start the 4th. And that is caught, but shy of the first down by Robinson. Needed 6, got 4, and they're forced to punt. Whitley covering.
That time Adam Archuleta was up there like he was going to blitz, and they dropped back in coverage and made Chris Chandler throw underneath.
Adam Archuleta, as usual, in the middle of the action. Maynard to punt. Flag is thrown. Wilkins from the 28-yard line takes it back to the 37-yard line. Robbie Abdullah.
Robbie Abdullah just unloaded. Did you see that? I mean, in life, you don't get a lot of hits like this. I mean, when you get square and you can bring everything you have and unload like that and turn the other guy, the guy that you're hitting, back to where he came from. You don't get many shots like that. I mean, usually guys like Wilkins are aware.
The face of the receiving team during the kick, 10 yards from the spot where the change of possession occurred. First down.
Real time. This is a Lehigh guy as well.
Robbie Abdullah. You know, he knocked him 4 yards.
Yeah.
Watch him when he gets hit here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 yards back that he knocks him. That is a hit. I mean, that's one thing. One of the toughest jobs. Robbie Abdullah's still over there celebrating that one. But I think the toughest job in pro football is a quarterback. I think the next toughest job is a kick returner, the punt returner. And I'll tell you who it's tougher for. It's the mother. It's the mother of the quarterback and the mother of the punt returner, especially the mother of the quarterback, because you watch your son. That's the one person that you know that is going to watch one player the whole game. It's the mother of that player.
With their eyes half closed. 1st and 10 from the 18. Gordon.
Yeah, I was watching Mark Bulger the other night at practice, and he reminded me so much of Kurt Warner. I think that, you know, the teaching and coaching is such a big part. You watch them, they both have the same stance. They both have their left foot back. You see, here's Kurt Warner now on top. Now watch how they set. They both set the same way. They have the same angle. Watch you carry the ball. Bulger's a little lower, but watch how the ball comes up, and as it comes up, it comes right out. Both of them have a very quick release, and they're both very accurate. And when you break it down like that, they look a lot alike.
And they're playing in a dream system for a quarterback, as that one is deflected and then caught by a Ram. It's Bulger who gets it back. So he deflects it and then gets a reception as well.
Who was that did that a couple years ago and got a touchdown?
Brad Johnson did it.
Brad Johnson, yeah. But he threw a touchdown pass and caught a touchdown pass. Here, Bulger throws a pass and catches a pass. He's lucky that Keith Traylor didn't get it. Keith Traylor is the guy that knocked it up in the air. Remember last year, Keith Traylor intercepted one. Remember him going down the sideline?
Sure.
That was one of the great sights of last year.
Classic.
I'll tell you, yeah, and that's how he got it. He had an interception, and he came very close. He couldn't locate the ball in space.
Bulger's so nonplussed after that, they have to take a timeout. 3rd down upcoming. Rams, Bears. good game early on. If you joined us late, looked like the Rams were on their way to blowing Chicago out. Scored on the first drive. Good second drive. Marshall Faulk gone for the night, and in civvies, Lamar Gordon was there, but a big forced fumble by Roosevelt Colvin kept Chicago in the game early, and they're down by 1. 3rd and 5 after the Ram timeout, and they convert here as Ricky Proehl makes the catch. The 12th year Proehl out of Wake Forest, still going strong.
And, you know, he does that. I mean, if you need a play, a big 3rd down play. I remember Dick Vermeil, when he was coaching, he said that Ricky Proehl doesn't start, but he's one of the most valuable players on our team. And these are the type of plays that Ricky Proehl needs, you know, makes. I mean, you need a play, you need a first down, you look for number 87.
Don't the Tampa Bay Bucks know that from the NFC Championship game in '99. 1st and 10. Bulger escapes the R.W. McQuarters near sack and then is able to complete it to Isaac Bruce. And Bruce takes it inside the 40 to the 38-yard line.
What a big play by Mark Bulger. I mean, those are the kind of plays that the big, strong quarterbacks make. Mark Bulger is not a big, strong guy, but all you have to do when you feel that pressure coming is dip your shoulder a little. You see, he feels it. He dips his shoulder. Then he spins out. And again, he's not looking at the rush. Watch, he doesn't look at the rush. He doesn't look at the line. He's always looking downfield for a receiver.
At 48 minutes into the game, as you look at the frustrated McQuarters, Bulger has a 300-yard night. Exactly 300. 17 of 26. To the ground again. To Gordon. A hard yard. So Bulger looking for all the world like a guy in his 5th year instead of his 5th game. Since 1950, over the past 52 years, there it is. No quarterback has ever thrown for more yards in their first 5 starts than this guy. That's a pretty eclectic list. Blake, Hogaboom, Gerbach, Testaverde.
That's a word for it, eclectic. I mean, you expect to see names like Elway and Marino and those guys up there, and that's not the list. But how does a guy have 5 games like this then not start in the 6th?
Yeah, 2nd down and 9. Pressure again. Bulger throwing it away. Conwell in the area. 3rd down.
Yeah, I'll say one thing about this Chicago Bear team, though. They've hung in there. I mean, the Bulger will get something going. I mean, he has the yardage. He'll get a play going. But this Bear team will always come up with a play. I mean, they come up with a defensive play. They come up with a pressure. They create long yardage. You know, they get a special teams play. You know, you'd think a team that, you know, has lost 7 in a row would be a little down. These guys have a heck of a lot of fight in it.
And coming off a game in which they blew a 21-point lead last week at home, or sort of home in Champaign. 3rd down and 9. Bulger throws, caught at the 31-yard line by Edwards. And Edwards takes it to the 28, and that's close to a first, the ex-Steeler.
And they like Troy Edwards here in the St. Louis Rams because, you know, when they got Terrence Wilkins, they thought that he would take Oz Hakeem's place, and for some reason he's really never picked up the offense. So then they got Troy Edwards, and he has. So he's become that Oz Hakeem of this year.
They're going to measure. It also appeared as if he got a great spot. They spot the ball at the 28-yard line. There's the catch.
Ooh, that looked like he was a little short there of the yellow line. Of course, the yellow line not being official, and they gave him the spot just across the yellow line.
Just across, and by about a 1/3 of the length of the football, they get a first down. That's one of those, it's a challengeable call for Giron, but I mean, where in the world is Austin going to put the ball beside where he just put it? Not worth a challenge. I would agree with that at that point. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. 10 minutes to play. Bulger. Incomplete. Intended for Hodgins. There's the playoff picture at the moment. Packers and Bucks each 8-2. So they would get the byes. Remember, the third and fourth best division winners will have to play in a wild card game. Right now, that's the Eagles and the 49ers, which, by the way, is our matchup next Monday. Saints and Falcons, if the season ended right now, they would go in. The Giants would just miss. And the Rams, if they go to 5-5 tonight, still fighting an uphill battle. Second down and 10 from the 28-yard line. Bulger. Bruce taken down at the 8-yard line by Mike Brown. 20 yards, and Isaac Bruce tonight has caught a half dozen balls for 141 yards.
You know what they're doing? They're going maximum protection. Look, see, they have the tight end in here, and then they just keep this side solid. They keep a back in here, so they're keeping 2 extra blockers in there to give Mark Bulger that type of time to find Isaac Bruce. You feel sometimes that Isaac Bruce just sits around the first quarter, second quarter, then the third and fourth quarter comes alive.
Like last week.
We talk about maximum protection. That last picture was a picture of maximum protection.
First and goal. Fake to Gordon to the end zone. Hold in. Ricky Prohl, touchdown.
Again, maximum protection. Here's Ricky Prohl out here. They only have 2 men running pattern. Ricky Prohl starts on a cross. You see right there, he knows that he's open there. Mark Bulger gets it out to him. Now watch the protection. All these guys are going to block because it's only a 2-man pattern. So they have the tight end on this side, the back on the other side. This back here, they picked up everything.
Point after by Wilkins as the Rams go 82 yards to turn a 1-point game into an 8-point game with 9 minutes left in the fourth.
You know, watching that touchdown again, the 2 Bear safeties, Mike Green and Mike Brown, picked each other off. It was a maximum protection, and only 2 receivers running the pattern, and the 2 Bear safeties ran into each other.
Green and Brown turning the Bears blue as Merritt brings it back up to the 25-yard line. Bulger tonight, 337 yards. Proud Papa on ABC. Whom
would have thought?
Whom would have thought? I'd have to edit the promo copy on the fly here. From the 25-yard line, 1st and 10 for Chicago. St. Louis by 8. Thomas taken down.
Let's watch that touchdown again. Here's Ricky Prohl. Here's Holt over on this side, and they're just going to run crossing patterns. But watch it here in the clicker, and we'll see as he starts to cross, and we just stop it right here. The Bears, the 2 safeties knocked each other out, and Ricky Prohl comes out the other side. In fact, Mike Green and Mike Brown still don't know where Ricky Prohl came from or where each other came from.
Second down and 10. That's knocked down. Low throw. Ryan Pickett is right there.
I think one of the big things with Ryan Pickett is they moved him nose tackle, and I think that's his position. They were trying to play him at what they call the 3 technique, and he's better right in here where he's on the guard in the center and just getting a push straight up the middle because he's playing the run well, and he has a good feel for that, getting up the middle and taking away a lane with your hand.
3rd and 10. Chandler, they have him by the shirt, and that's incomplete. Leonard Little got there again, and Chandler is shaken. Gets up gimpily.
And Leonard Little is the guy. I mean, he's the speed out there, and if you can get him outside and on those speed rushes, these big tackles have a tough time. You know, that's the way football's going now. The offensive linemen have gotten so big. I mean, they're weighing like 340, 350 pounds, and they're having trouble with these smaller speed rushers.
Maynard. Fair caught by Wilkins at the 30. Chandler's shaken up, and the Bears are down by 8, and the Rams have the ball with under 8 to play in St. Louis. In St. Louis.
They can make this a noisy place, can't they?
Unbelievable. 1st and 10 from the 31. Gordon stopped at the line of scrimmage by Traylor. Let's check in with Melissa.
Well, Al, I talked to a number of the Rams and asked them what the turning point was this season, and they all point to one thing. Before the Oakland game, which is when the winning streak began, Torrey Holt addressed the team, and he said, we have to start having fun again. And I mean everyone, from the top of the organization to the equipment manager. When you're filling up those water bottles, I want smiles on your faces. He said, picture yourself at a party. You're wearing your best suit, your favorite song comes on, you are on top of the world. That's the way you need to act when you take the field, and Al, that's still the way they're acting now.
Well, it's tough to do at 0-5, but they're on their way to being 5-5 right now, as Bruce gets there along with the ball and Jerry Azuma at the same time, and Jerry is down.
You know, and that was the thing that all the Ram players and coaches were talking about is, in fact, Mike Martz said that from the Super Bowl, he kind of had a hangover, you know, after they lost that, and he was tense and intense, and you know, and everything, and the team felt it, and he felt it. Then they just got to a point and they said, we aren't having fun anymore. We have to go out and have fun, and that's exactly what they've been doing since the Oakland game.
Yeah, and Mark said, look, it was my fault is what he told us yesterday. He said I was putting too much pressure on everybody.
And pressure on himself, too. I mean, you were bringing that stuff all the time. And
3rd and 11, and that's incomplete. You know, the other amazing thing, John, about the Rams is they have backups going tonight with Bolger and with Gordon, but these are not the second stringers. These are the third stringers. We keep forgetting that it was Warner, then it was Jamie Martin, because he had a gimpy knee that gave Bolger the chance, and then Trunk Canada was a #1 choice in 2000 to back up Falk, but clearly he has fallen out of favor, hasn't even played tonight. So you've got Lamar Gordon. You have 2 guys who are #3 in the depth chart, not even #2.
And you know what that's all about? That's all about assistant coaches. You know, the Ram assistant coaches are great teachers.
Leon Johnson up to the 36-yard line.
Because even Greg Blash from the Chicago Bears was talking about it, and he said, I don't know how they teach all that stuff that they do.
And a little credit to scouting as well. 21-13 St. Louis. St. Louis. Edward Jones Dome. Chicago, 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Chandler. Booker. Gain of about 7.
You know, tonight I'm leaving. I'm going to be going out 70 and then up 80. But you know what's happening tonight? Meteor showers. I just heard that. So if I'm, and I heard local time, it's like between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. So I don't know if I'll stay up that late or get up that early, but
you have to.
You can't beat a meteor shower.
No, you're going to be what?
How many times do you see a meteor shower in your life?
This is supposed to be like the best one for the next 100 years. 2nd and 2. And that's caught down the sideline by Stanley Pritchett. Big catch. And the Bears, and I described them before as resilient, are exactly that.
You know, and Stanley Pritchett has been a pretty big part of this passing game. I know even in watching films, you know, they'll put him in, and he's a fullback, he's a running back, but he's also like a tight end. You know, they get him up there and they get him out of the backfield. And remember earlier they tried to get him on a swing. In fact, they finally got that play on him that they tried to do earlier.
Here are the Bears now at the 29-yard line. Slow in getting the play in, and the Bears are going to be forced to spend a timeout. They're first. They have 2 left. Timeout Chicago with a little under 6 minutes to play now in regulation.
So now, when was the last meteor shower? Because here's what I think it looks like. It starts like up here, right?
Yep.
And then I think stuff just falls, like just pieces just fall off like this. Look, I got all kinds of stuff going. I think, and then it just falls down, so you see it. So it's like a big fireworks thing. This is a way I would picture a meteor shower.
Yeah, but I'm going to be at 41,000 feet. I'm not going to.
Well, you'll be looking down upon it then, won't you? But
I hope not.
The problem, Kelly Hayes told me the problem. Oh, you won't be.
I hope not.
When they fall. How far do they fall?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they may fall right past you as you're flying, but.
You have room on the bus tonight?
Yeah, I mean, then you could look. It'll be a sight. And the thing is, but they say because there's a full moon.
Yep.
You see that may affect the meteor shower. You may not be able to see it as brightly.
A March meteor shower notwithstanding is going to challenge where the ball was spotted.
St. Louis is challenging where the runner went out of bounds on the previous play.
They, for the moment, have spotted the ball at the 29-yard line. That's where they say Pritchett went out. Now let's take another peek here. And,
right, he stepped there.
Yeah,
it was his left foot.
Now the question becomes.
You see that left foot, I think.
If not the left.
Right there, I think. I mean, doesn't it look like he's out of bounds there?
Even if he doesn't call it there, then he's out of bounds just another yard or so beyond that.
If it's not the left, it's definitely the right, which would be right on the line.
Now we have to go back and figure out where that is. I'm just the 30. It's about the 35. So what March is asking for here is a respot, which would net him about 6 yards. So if they call it out there, that's the 36. Call it there, it's the 35. So what Marsh is going to wind up with a few more yards here is what it's going to amount to. 5 or 6 yards.
As you're right, if they don't put it on the 36, then they have to put it on the 35. Stanley Pritchett's a big guy, though, isn't he? When he comes running down the sideline, that's a definition of a load going down the sideline.
It's a first down regardless, so all March is asking for here as he uses his first challenge. And interestingly, only the second challenge he's used all year. I mean, March had led in challenges per game since he took over in 2000. And then he made his first challenge last week and the second challenge right here.
See, here's where the right foot is out right there. So it would have to come back, and then the right foot is right on the line right there. So it would have to be right on the 35-yard line. And the one thing that would affect is now if the 35-yard line, of course, it's first down, but that would be a 52-yard field goal.
After reviewing the play, it's not definitive on the first step near the sideline. But on the second step, he's out at the 35. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 35. St. Louis is not charged a timeout.
The crowd is booing like crazy just because of the verbiage used by Austin. I mean, it's a difference of 1 yard.
Well, you said a negative thing first.
Right.
If it's a home crowd, you should always say the positive thing. Say he did step out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds in the 35-yard line, and everyone would be happy.
Right.
But when you go to a negative thing, then you go to a positive thing. The people don't always hear the positive because they just listen to the negative.
Well, as we said before, Jerry's not used to announcing overturns.
Good things.
1st and 10. So that nets the Rams about 6 yards.
Well, see, then if they could get a blitz and throw them for a loss here, they can knock them out of field goal range if they haven't already.
From the 35-yard line, 1st and 10. Thomas. I don't know, John. If I'm the Bears right now, I'm not even thinking, as a flag is thrown, I'm not even thinking about a field goal because you're still going to have to get a touchdown. Even if you get a field goal, it's a 5-point game. You're still going to have to get in the end zone.
I think with 5 minutes.
58 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Now they're out of field goal range.
That was a big play there. But I would think with 5 minutes, 51 seconds, if you could get a field goal attempt within 5 minutes, I think that I would kick the field goal because then you have an opportunity to kick off, hold them, get the ball back. or you have an opportunity to try an onside kick. Remember, that's how the Rams won last week. I mean, they scored, then they got an onside kick, and then they went in and scored again.
I think it's going to depend a lot on what you need on 4th down. First, if they get to that point. 1st and 20 from the 45-yard line. Chandler. And it is not intercepted inbounds. It's Dre Bly coming up with it, but out of bounds.
It's not intercepted. It was still a heck of a catch by Dre Bly. You know, and then we go back. I know what you're thinking. You go back to that 2 points. And, you know, the Bears should have gone for the 2 points. Then you wouldn't have to worry about field goal and touchdown.
Right.
You see Marty Booker, after this play, he stays down.
He's still down. He's hurt.
Dre Bly made a heck of a reception there. Marty Booker looked like he got his left leg caught up in Dre Bly's leg.
Yeah, stepped on Bly.
The injured Chicago Bear, 86, Marty Booker.
So their ace receiver, he's caught 7 passes tonight for 65 yards.
You know, we talked about Achilles tendons earlier. That's the area that they're checking right there is Booker's Achilles tendon. It's a tendon that runs up from the back of the heel up the back of your leg. See him feeling all the way up.
Sure.
That's exactly what he's testing.
Yep. And that, you know, clearly is a very serious injury. Aeneas Williams, who went out a few games ago, the great cornerback, probably headed to the Hall of Fame after his career. Again, Booker stepping on Bly on the way down, trying to jump over him, and he jumped on him.
Yeah, and did you see the right ankle just kind of twist as it goes down? In fact, it looks like he's all right. I mean, he's up and walking off the field now. I mean, it's easy to say he's all right, but that's always a good sign when they walk off the field.
Has to be out for at least a play. We go back to San Francisco. Haven't been there since '99. Jeff Garcia and the 49ers. Deuce Staley and the Philadelphia Eagles. Monday Night Football next week. Back-to-back Bay Area games the following week. Back to the Bay Area. The Jets against Oakland. John gets to go home for 2 weeks.
Right, and both those teams looked good yesterday. And then the 49ers let one get away from them.
They did.
And maybe San Diego took one away from them.
But the Jets got back to 500. Raiders won last night. 2nd and 20 from the 45-yard line, and they give it to Thomas, and he only picks up 3 to the 42. Stopped there by Tommy Polley.
You know, again, getting back to that challenge and that 5 yards, it doesn't seem like a lot because it was first down, but it still created something. I mean, it took the Bears, and they were going forward and made them go backward, and then they get a penalty, and then you know, and now they can't get back to that original line of scrimmage. I mean, this Ram defense just has this Bear offense going backwards.
And it stopped the flow of the game, too, and that didn't help the Bears. 3rd down and 17 from the 42-yard line. Booker's back in. Chandler on a slant. That's Des White to the 33. So if you're Geron, you're thinking about a 50-yard field goal to draw to within 5, and he's going to send the field goal unit out there.
And that's exactly what he's going to do. But you know, we talk about guys unloading. Watch Adam Archuleta on this one, number 31, and he's going to come in from right here. Now watch, he just reads that thing. He just zeroes in, and you talk about no helmet to helmet. He just got shoulder pad to shoulder pad.
50-yard attempt. The real downside for the Bears here, if he misses it, the Rams get the ball at the 40-yard line. This guy's good.
He is really good.
He's really good.
He goes through that whole thing and gets all that routine going. And then, what do you say about that golf swing? You swing with your big muscle.
Your big muscles, right?
Big muscles.
Big muscles.
Ettinger gets his big muscle in there. Everything he said, it's like golf, and you know your kick is like your golf swing, and he gets that thing going. Watch him here. He starts this, and he gets that little thing, then 1, 2, and then he does a twist. Then he still has one more twist. There, he has that twist. But see, now he gets that torque, and big muscle. Is that what you do?
You know, the thing about this kid is almost every time I watch him kick a field goal, I mean, it's right down Broadway.
Yeah.
It's right down the middle.
I mean, you talk about splitting the pipes.
Yep.
He split the pipes exactly. Now with 3:48 and they have 2 timeouts, I don't think that they have to kick an onside kick here. Nope. I would say that they're lining up like they're going to kick an onside. The Rams will come out in what we call a hands team or onside prevent. And I think I would get them in that onside prevent and then kick it deep. In fact, the Rams better get someone deep. They don't have anyone deep right now.
Nobody. The deepest guy's at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, but yeah, I would just kick the ball deep. Because, you know, you have to feel the kickoff. Remember that. So if you kick the ball deep, the Bears could go and recover it deep. That's exactly what he did.
And there's no Ram back there except Yoel Murphy, who has to retreat, and then Murphy has to get out of the way because Dre Bly goes back to take it away, and Leon Johnson gets down there to tackle him at the 16-yard line. So they have 2 timeouts defensively plus the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I'm surprised that the Rams didn't have somebody back. As you say, here's the closest guy. He's on the 30-yard line, so the Bears did exactly what they had to. Now, this is a live ball. You see, if they could have bounced, got a little more bounce this way, then they could have had a chance to pick it up. I mean, it's not an onside kick. It's a regular kick, but, again, it's a live ball.
Now the pressure is on the Bear defense. Urlacher and company from the 15-yard line to get the ball back. Gordon to string him out, and does he get out of bounds? He does not. Brian Urlacher and Roosevelt Colvin.
Yeah, see, and as you said, Al, they have 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. Plus, if they stop him, an automatic timeout and change of possession. So that's really, in essence, 4 timeouts.
Here are the Rams' guns tonight. Bulger, 337 through the year. Bruce has caught 6. Gordon's done all right. 3 yards per carry, but it seems like he's had a better game than that. Rams are going to take all of their time. Gordon, by the way, has also caught 4 balls for 52 yards. 2nd and 9. Play clock goes all the way down, and Bulger takes a timeout.
Ooh, now that's like having 3 timeouts, because now they get the Rams timeout, 2 of their own, 2-minute warning, and change of possession.
The upside is they took 39 of the 40 seconds off the play clock. Monday Night Football brought to you by Cat. Aerial coverage provided by Budweiser on the banks of the Mississippi, the gateway to the West.
This is 2 big plays for the Rams offense. They have to think in terms of getting a first down. The Bears defense, again, stopping them from getting a first down.
They empty the backfield, 2nd down and 9 from the 16-yard line. 4-man rush. Bulger flushed out. Throws incomplete. Perfect for the Bears. Just perfect. Stops the clock. No gain. Conserves the timeout.
See, and the Bears are going to have plenty of time here. Now, if they can stop them. Now, the Rams, again, Martz is thinking, I can't go for one of these underneath things because I need a first down. If I don't get a first down, I have to punt. I mean, there's no way that they could do anything else other than punt. And then the Bears are not only going to get the ball back, but they're going to have pretty good field position if they can stop them on this down.
If they can stop, and even if they stop them inbounds, they take their timeout. They're going to have 2:40 or so left, and in effect 2 timeouts, their own plus the 2-minute warning. 3rd down and 9 from the 16-yard line. Bulger chased out, throws, diving at the 26. He caught it for a first down. Torrey Holt. Big play, Torrey Holt.
He said he was big play. He throws that ball back, and I'll tell you, Mark Bulger made a heck of a play, too. I mean, he had to throw it where he could get a first down. He had to throw it where Torrey Holt could catch it, and he had to get to the outside. See him? He gets a rush. He gets a pressure from the inside. He gets to the outside, and he throws a dart right here. Torrey Holt knows that he has to get down. One knee equals 2 feet. All you have to do is catch the ball, and when your one knee goes down, then you're down.
What a play.
I'll tell you, and that's what Mark Bulger did is putting the ball exactly where you wanted it. And they had a good pass rush. I mean, Rosie Colvin was in there, and he flushed him out. I mean, he made Bulger run. And as we said earlier, Mark Bulger has proven, and he's proven again tonight, that he can make all the throws.
Bears have to take a timeout on first down. They have 1 left plus the 2-minute warning.
So now we go through the same thing. Again, the Rams have to get another first down. The Bears have to stop them from getting a first down.
They need at least 1 more first down to be able to run the clock out. Gordon to the 29. Chicago's going to take its timeout here. And then it'll be 2nd down, and then it'll be 3rd down if they don't pick up the first at the 2-minute warning with the clock stoppage. Mark Bulger never threw an NFL pass until October. Until week 6. Warner, of course, started the first 3 games, hurt in the 4th. Jamie Martin came in and played almost the whole game against Dallas, then played at San Francisco. Then because of a bad knee, Bulger got the break. Opened up against Oakland. And as you go back to Warner's first 5 starts in the year 1999, when, of course, he led them to the Super Bowl after the Trent Green injury, that's how he did. There's Bulger's first 5 starts, his numbers. More yardage. TD interception ratio, close.
And Kurt Warner's starting next week.
Yeah. 2nd and 7. Gordon is going to come up a little short of the first down, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. So that's going to stop the clock for the last time, and it's as simple as this. If the Rams get another first down, they can end the game. If not, the Bears are still in it, hanging in it. Down by 5 is Chicago as we come to the 2-minute warning in St. Louis. Rams trying to make it 5 straight. Bears trying to avoid losing 8 straight. You can log on to ESPN.com, vote for the best team in the NFC. I wonder if Edward Jones is related to Raymond James. No, never mind.
I thought he was a nose tackle for the Bears against the Packers against the Buckets.
That's right. Horse trailer. Who will adorn the horse trailer? Who'll be on that horse thing?
The only thing I know about the horse trailer is the media is going to, what do they call it? Meteors are going to shower on the horse trailer tonight as it goes across the country. So
right.
whatever on it's going to get showered upon.
There's our trailer heading west.
Yep, we got them all lined up. We got trucks and trailers and horse trailers. The whole deal. All lined up, ready to head out west.
We're going west, but our man Fred Gaudelli, our illustrious producer, and Jill Gaudelli will welcome into the world tomorrow a baby girl. And Freddie, get used to that sound.
Yep, and our best wishes to both of them.
Yep. A great day for you tomorrow. 3rd down and 1 from the 34-yard line. And Gordon doesn't get the first. So Chicago's going to get one last gasp. Mike Green comes up to save the day, at least temporarily.
And again, we talked that with the change of possession. Now the clock will continue to run until the change of possession. And then when the ball is kicked and returned, then the clock will stop until the next down. So the Bears, without having any timeout, will get a change of possession timeout.
And Mitch Berger will wait. They'll snap it at the last possible moment. Play clock is at 10. Good high deep kick. Fielded at the 12 by Leon Johnson. And Leon brings it back to the 24. So a field goal does Chicago no good. They'll have to go 76 yards in 67 seconds or less.
Yeah, and the thing that they have to do, again, you have to think of throwing the ball up the field, because you know they're gonna stop you from getting out of bounds. Now that's the first thing you'd like to do: complete the ball, get it out of bounds. But if you can't get a first down, so then the quarterback can come up and spike it, and you give a down away, but you still have 3. The worst thing you can do, of course, is get sacked. The second worst thing is an incomplete, well, a short pass and a tackle would be the second worst thing.
So the ball now at the 25. They have to go 75 yards after the spot in 1:07. Pressure Chandler. He throws it a little bit behind Booker, and then Dre Bly kicks it away. The Rams came close to an interception.
Yeah, I mean, now I think in these next shots, I think you have to throw passes beyond 10 yards. Again, you know, you try and get out of bounds, but again, if you get a first down, you can get a spike.
Second and 10 from the 25. Chandler sacked, 7 sacks. Damian Lewis with the magnificent 7th.
Yep, and that's the thing that they couldn't afford, or they could least afford, is a sack. And as I said, they've been going after Chris Chandler all night. I thought the offensive line did a better job in the second half, but now they have to throw every down, and they're going to come all out.
They need 15, and that's tipped away by Dre Bly. So Chicago down to its last gasp.
Dre Bly's playing a lot better. I mean, he's playing with a lot more confidence, and you know, he's a pretty good player. But this is what they have to do. You can work the whole field, but you have to throw it beyond that first down marker so that you can get first down. You know, you just don't have to work the outside. Just work anywhere. But now you're talking about it has to be at least a 20-yard pass darn near.
Bears have to get to the 35-yard line, or the game is over. And the game will be over. Into traffic, into a lot of traffic, intended for Ahmad Merritt. And so the Bears will equal their longest losing streak ever. And for only the second time in the course, or within the confines of a single season, will the venerable Chicago Bears have lost 8 games in a row.
I'll tell you, it's tough for that guy Dick Duran and for all his players, you know, to lose and then come back every week and get up again and go out there and fight and play hard and do all those things and have nothing to show for it. And
yeah,
that's always the toughest thing.
Updated playoff picture: the Rams are still a game and a half out of a playoff spot because of that tie by Atlanta in the Pittsburgh game, and this one will end with Bulger going 21 of 35 for 347, and he's going to wind up on the horse trailer. There he is. He's on the horse trailer this week, and he's on the bench on Sunday. Go figure.
Yep, and you know, isn't it something when it's quarterbacks, it's a controversy. When it's any other position, it's a competition. But the Rams, like it or not, are going to have a quarterback controversy.
We'll hear from Marc Bulger after his one more shining moment and another Rams win, 21-16. Rams make it 5 straight, get to 500, climb all the way back to even. Chicago loses for the 8th consecutive game. 21-16 St. Louis. Another shining moment for the Sudden Star, Marc Bulger, as we go to Melissa.
All right, Al. Well, he sprained the ligament in his right index finger. It's unbelievably swollen. Took 2, not 1, but 2 pain-killing injections. How were you able to throw the ball so well with a numb finger?
Well, that's the whole key. It was numb, and you know, I took a couple painkillers, and it helped out a lot. But I didn't have exactly what I wanted on the ball tonight. But you know, it was tough with Kurt not taking any reps this week to have him go in there. So you know, I knew I was still better, a little bit hurt.
You have thrown for more yards than any quarterback since 1950 in his first 5 starts. What do you think of that?
St. Louis Rams offense, that's what it is. You know, if I was on another team, it wouldn't happen. So I'm just fortunate to be on this team with the playmakers we have.
Mike Martz has already declared Kurt Warner the starter for next week. Do you think you did anything tonight by your performance to convince him otherwise?
No, I think I did something to convince him before that because my finger, I don't know when it's going to be ready. But Kurt's our guy. We knew that going in. We talked all week about that, and just happy we got back to 500.
What's it going to be like going back to the bench?
Not fun, but like I said all week, Kurt's a great player. He's 2-time MVP. You know, he does so many things for this team, and when he comes back, he's going to be another spark that we needed.
Congratulations, Mark.
Thanks.
All right, Al. Well, Mark Bulger, a big reason why the Rams still have a shot at becoming the first team in NFL history to start the season 0-5 and make the playoffs.
As John and I said earlier, I mean, this kid is almost too good to be true in every aspect. 21-16, the Rams win it. Next week, San Francisco. The 49ers hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. Stay tuned now for your late local news. Those of you on the West Coast, a special edition of 2020. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Melissa Stark saying good night from St. Louis. We'll talk to you next Monday from San Francisco.